all for you to decorate any way you like. For the entire month, we went through catalogs and magazines, mail order shit, and received deliveries that Santiago arranged. Santiago was so loved that he had a guy who could make whatever he wanted to happen happen. Designers, carpenters, locksmiths, tailors, you name it, they came when he called. They gave him respect, tried to keep their eyes from roaming around Santiago's house. You could see them shaken by Papa's power. Although I wanted to be in Brooklyn, I could see that this is the way a man like Santiago is supposed to live. What we considered to be high quality before was nothing compared to now. But those slim corridors in the Brooklyn projects, where the smell of fried chicken collided with the smell of codfish and ackee, then got drowned out by the smell of liquor, still had my name on it. The silence in the Long Island mansion was killing me. You couldn't just open the windows, yell downstairs, and find out what was jumping off later that night. The reality was that for the most part, in this area where we lived, nothing jumped off. Period. The whole idea of next door neighbors was dead. Forget borrowing a cup of sugar, a few cigarettes or whatever. You'd have to walk what seemed like a mile just to get to the next house. Even then, you wouldn't be trying to borrow shit from them, 'cause hell, you don't know them from Jack, and they don't know you. Your ass is black, they old and white, and the bottom line around these parts is, you are just expected to have your own shit and not borrow anything anyway. Now, I don't want to lie to you. There were some blacks in the neighborhood, but they asses was so uptight. I figured if I asked the question, they want me to pay for the answer. When I registered at the school, I knew that I would be spending even less time there than I had at my other school. There was just nothing live about it. Here, I could put on a Chanel suit, stand on a corner, and meet nothing but the wind, and maybe even a ticket for loitering. I had my driver's license now, but it didn't matter. We only had one car, the Lexus, and it was Santiago's. He promised Mom she was next in line to get her car. I was sure that after her car came mine. But who knew how long that was gonna take? Santiago had to hook everything up just right, so as not to bring too much attention on himself with too many big purchases. After a while, me and my moms were going stir crazy, but we were the only ones disappointed. My little sister's room was so big, it was like a separate apartment. Even the twins were having a ball because they had plenty of space to tear up in. At the rate they were moving, we joked that our part-time housekeeper, a little Spanish woman named Magdalena, would be quitting any minute now.
What good is all of this, baby, if I can't show it off? I need my family to share in what you've given us.
Mama's words were never ignored by Papa. Once she lured him into the bedroom, she would get whatever she wanted. Soon, Santiago agreed to allow Mommy to throw regular Saturday night parties. Invitations were limited to carefully selected friends and family. Santiago spared them no luxury. They ate like pigs, drank from our liquor bar, and powdered their noses with the cane available in candy dishes, usually reserved for jelly beans. They partied every weekend and stayed at our house so late that some of them were there at our breakfast table on Sunday morning. These parties excited my mother and added the necessary spice to our new, boring Long Island life. She got to show off her house, furniture, and all that good shit. As certain people were skeptical about giving us our props before, they had to now, 'cause our shit was official. Nobody from our neighborhood could lie and say that they had what we had. From the way their eyes popped open when they first came to the house, we could tell they had never been in nobody's house that compared to ours. These parties did nothing for me, though. Point blank, I wasn't invited. Even though I was 16, Santiago couldn't get it through his head that I was growing up. Inside, I think he figured that if he treated me like a little girl, I would remain one. Somehow he thought he treated me better than any man claiming to love me would. So that should be enough for me, but it wasn't enough. So I learned to work around Santiago's ways. First, I found the bus stop. That may sound simple, but believe me, it took real detective work. It was about a mile and a half from our house. I took the bus to the mall. That's when I realized where everybody in Long Island was, at the mall. I cased the place just to see what stores they had up there. They passed my quality test. Coach store, yes. Versace, yes. And of course, Ralph Lauren and Joan and David shoes. My heart rushed as I shopped. I spotted a few cuties, but not exactly my type of man. They had the blank sort of look in their face, not aggressive enough the way I like 'em. Trust me, no. They didn't have to look no particular way to eat my pussy. And right about now, that's exactly what I wanted to relieve my tension. So, I sipped the chocolate malt, bought myself a designer t-shirt, hooked it up the way I wanted it, and smiled quietly to myself. Saturday morning, I prepared to fulfill my babysitting obligations. I dressed the twins in their matching Hilfiger jumpers and crisp new kicks. I did their hair up nice in some grown-up styles. I had on my tight brown suede pants, my brown suede jacket, brown leather shoes, and my Versace sunglasses. I put on my new custom-made designer t-shirt. I snatched up their little hands and headed to the mall, where I was sure there would be something exciting for each of us to get into. By the end of the day, the twins had managed to rearrange their hairdos and redecorate their jumpers with spilled hot chocolate. I could not believe that I did not meet a man I pictured so carefully in my mind, my tension reliever. Instead, I was approached by one guy who walked up to me with his doofy ass asking me about my t-shirt. I rolled my eyes and made a face at him like he smelled like shit or something. He got the point and strolled away. Later on, going home on the bus, I thought maybe these guys around here were not used to bold women like me. Maybe they were into manners, prissy bitches and shit like that. Maybe my t-shirt, which read, "These are not my fucking kids," was too spicy for their precious eyes and ears. There was no doubt in my mind that I would have to find my way back to Brooklyn on a regular basis to keep my sanity. Chapter 3. "Daddy," I said softly, trying to lean on my innocent baby doll look. "I want to get my hair done at Arlene's next Friday." Sensing some type of plot, Santiago asked,
Why would you go all the way to Brooklyn to get your hair done? Can't you go somewhere around here?
"Come on, Daddy," I pleaded. "They don't know how to hook my do-up out here. Arlene be having my shit, excuse me, my hair looking correct."
There's plenty of black hairdressers out here. Go to Wyandanch. That's a 45-minute ride. It just doesn't make sense for my baby to be riding a bunch of trains and buses just to get back to Brooklyn.
Bus? Train? Trust me, Daddy, I wasn't talking about riding either. I'm straight up hitting you for a ride when you driving on Friday, I said, laughing and begging at the same time.
Winter, you know I don't mix business and pleasure. I do my runs solo. I don't want you to have to deal with that or knowing more than what you need to know. It's not smart. And I've never been a stupid man. Just lay low for a while. Your mother will have her car in a couple of weeks. Then you and her can go ripping around to take care of all that girly shit. Anyway, there ain't a female in the state who looks better than Winter, even without Earlene's help.
He said with his cool face and half a smile. Even at my disappointed moment, a compliment felt good and worked, as it did every time. I accepted Santiago's rationale and went back to my room to reshuffle my deck and think of another angle to get me into Brooklyn. Days later, I called Sterling, my old sugar daddy, out of the blue. After racking my brain for a plan to get into Brooklyn, I realized he was the only sucker I knew who would get such a kick out of seeing me that he would drive all the way out here to get me. The price of the whole arrangement was that I'd have to tolerate him, act like I gave a damn about him when I didn't. I'd have to think of quick answers to all his wimpy bitching questions about where I had been, why I had to cut out on him, why did I never call, blah, 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 blah. Then I'd have to think of a clever way to ditch him, because I definitely wasn't spending my Friday night with him. I have to be firm so he wouldn't start that damn whining. I'd also have to be sweet, so if I had to use him again as my taxi driver from time to time, he would cooperate. The worst thing that might happen is I might have to end up giving him some pussy just to keep him in line, or a quick blowjob while he was driving. I wasn't sweating it though. I had done it with him before, and I could easily do it again, especially to get the hell out of Long Island. Soon as Santiago's legs ripped out of the driveway Friday afternoon, I saw Sterling pull up in his little car with the broken fender. I swallowed hard and got ready to pretend it was a limo. When I told my moms I was going to Orleans, she wanted to come too. I explained that she could not come because I was spending the night in Aunt Lori's and would not be able to get her a ride back after she finished at Orleans. She screwed up her face as though she had a problem with me spending the night at her own sister's house. I quickly added that I will be back the first thing Saturday morning to watch the kids. She let go of her anger and I jetted. Adrenaline was pumping in Orleans. I was like a junkie getting a fix as I got filled in on the what haps around the way. The girls dropped the regular shit on me like who bumping who, who's pregnant, who's paid, who's not, and why. Who's locked down, how long, and who's due to come home. Now Natalie was giving me the elbow, her discreet way of telling me to look toward the door without looking like I was looking towards the door.
There go Tasha.
She said out the corner of her mouth. Yeah, and? I asked, waiting for the 411 on her.
She's fucking with your man Midnight.
The information hit me right in my chest. She was talking about my future husband.
She's big on him too, especially since he got that new Acura with the rims.
My heart dropped for 3 full seconds. It took 1 second for me to check Tasha out. My eyes zoomed in on her ears. Cheap 10-karat gold earrings. Then her clothes. She was chilling a little bit, strictly hip-hop style. She had big taste me titties, a small flat belly, and a round ass. She was brown-skinned with chinky eyes. A regular bitch, I thought to myself. The rack that she put those clothes off of had 1,000 pairs of the same shit, which means at any party, 4 or 5 girls will have it on. There was nothing unique about her, or even the way she hooked up her gear. It wouldn't be hard for me to move her right on out, but damn, it was the Long Island distance that was killing me. A second later, my mind focused on what I really wanted to hear. Midnight had a new Acura. The one I would be riding around in. The one he needed to have to sport a bitch like me. After my hair was butter, I left for Natalie to go check my Aunt Lori. I needed to at least show my face in her apartment and hang out for an hour or so. I knew my moms would call to check on me. I'd be out partying, but at least Aunt Lori could verify that she had seen me and that I would be back to her place to spend the night, like I told my mother I would. We had plans to go to Big Mo's, the local bar and dance set that be banging on Friday nights for the young crowd. There was never no problem about Big Mo or his bouncers getting in your business and checking IDs and shit like that. I can't tell you how my heart was racing just from being in Brooklyn Air again. Cars were positioned bumper to bumper for all 3 blocks around at Mo's Club. Car and Jeep speakers were up, each one playing their own jam. Sound systems were fighting to outblast each other. A little bit of hip-hop collided with a little bit of reggae, rockers, and even some slow jams. I was on foot rolling 15 deep, straight Brooklyn style, with 15 razor-ready girls who all had each other's back. When we got to the club, I put my plan into action. I didn't have long to work because Long Island was looming in the back of my mind like a threat. Midnight was standing on the right side of the club where the lights were low. He was kicking it with about 5 other niggas. I caught the side of his serious face, his muscular jaw working. I laughed to myself thinking, only this nigga could conduct business in a place where everybody else is trying to get their groove on. I gave my girl Natalie the pinch, and our whole crew started walking toward Midnight in his voice. We rushed his crew, bumping into all of them, rubbing our titties against them, using the excuse that the club was crowded. Of course, it only took a second before my girls had his boys distracted. I stepped up, licking my lips real slowly and saying rough and sexy like,
What's up, Midnight? Haven't seen you in a while.
I said this line with sensual power. I said it like he and I had been intimate in the past, and I missed him and needed to get back with him as soon as possible. I was standing so close to him that one more inch and I could have slid my tongue down his throat. He looked at me unaffected, completely unmoved and non-emotional. My emotions were wilding. My nipples were up and my muscles in my pussy were beating like a heart.
What do you want?
He finally said. Now I was pissed. I knew my perfume had to be working. I dabbed it on extra, so when I got up close to him, my scent would suck him in. Hell, I had on 18-karat gold earrings and 1-carat diamond studs. Much more than that $2, 10-carat hoe I heard he had been kicking it with had. I didn't want to go off. The bottom line was, I wanted him, so I had to play it cool, make sure I pull him in just right. I said sweetly, What do I want? I touched his hand with mine, looked him there in the eye. Oh, I want it all. He pulled his hand back like I had a disease, and slowly and coldly spit back at me.
Well, that makes you like all these bitches in here, now doesn't it?
Rage ripped through my chest as it became clear that I wasn't even a consideration of his. Hell, he acted like I wasn't even a woman. My mind automatically flipped to Santiago, who I know would have ripped out Midnight's tongue for even talking to me like that. Then, like a gypsy, Midnight, reading my thoughts, said,
What? Going to tell Daddy? I'm my old man.
He turned and walked away. I felt so played, I didn't even want to turn around to my girls. I'd have to tell my whole crew that I got dissed like I was a piece of shit. I just tightened up, put on my Brooklyn tude, grabbed the next nigga standing close to me, and started to dance. I was gonna move with fury, let Midnight know what he was missing. I handed my coach bag to my girl and started shaking my ass all the way to Alabama, using this dumb fuck dancing in front of me like a prop as I tried to catch Midnight's attention again. My body was shaking and sweating as anger and desire fought it out. Yes, desire, 'cause I was definitely turned on. The lighter situation made it hard for me to catch Midnight's eyes. At the point that my body wanted to collapse from exhaustion, I saw Midnight looking in my direction and heading my way. Smiling to myself, I thought, I know I'm a bad bitch. I knew he would be back. As he got closer, I realized he was signaling to his man who was standing behind me. He snatched him up and they left the club. Later that night, our crew was walking back to the PJs. I was feeling down, but looking unaffected. We were joking, bugging, talking about people, when a spanking new jet black gleaming Acura with rims pulled up alongside us. We all stopped to look at what I calculated was a $50,000 car with $4,500 in rims. The automatic window on the passenger side dropped down. And Midnight was behind the wheel doing what he does best, looking good. I wasn't going to play the sucker role and assume he stopped for me. I had done that already tonight. So I slid in the pack with my girls. He must have known he could have called any of us over to him, and not one of us would have stopped to consider the others. All of us were probably doing the same thing, imagining ourselves in the passenger seat of that car, which just increased in value as I checked the soft, white leather interior and wood paneling.
Winter.
He called my name with roughness that made me want to just hop on his dick and go buck.
Get in.
I don't remember walking to the car or nothing. I felt like I was just transported or teleported right into the seat, like I was on Star Trek or something. I turned to the side. The automatic window was up. Midnight was pulling his finger off the control button. I saw 28 eyeballs glued to the side of the window, staring in my face. They was my girls, but they were jealous. All I could think was, yeah, that's right, what did you expect? Or have you forgotten I'm the queen of this ghetto? As the window closed, I could hear Natalie's voice saying, are you staying in my house or Aunt Laurie's? I didn't respond, just thought to myself, hopefully neither. As we rode, my confidence grew slowly. I decided he was just trying to flip the script on me, play hard to get. It didn't matter though. He came back for me. I had made an impression on him. I had sweated him, and now he was sweating me. The air in the car was crisp and clean smelling. The stereo was so fly, it sounded like the band was playing the music in the back seat. He wasn't paying me no mind, but that was all right. I was used to his strange silence. It didn't make me mad. It made me want him more. I knew our lovemaking would be good just based on his mysteriousness. I opened my Coach bag and pulled out my little mirror. He wasn't paying me no mind. I tilted the mirror to the side angle so I could look at his face without him realizing I was looking. He was black, all right, beautiful. His long, thin nose and big lips mounted his white teeth. White like those t-shirts he wore in the summertime. Suddenly, it seemed, the music was abruptly interrupted by the loud and aggravating voice of Sister Soldier on the radio. I leaned up and reached for the button to change the station when Midnight intercepted my hand saying,
Don't touch my shed.
I sucked my teeth, rolled my eyes, and sat stiff while Soldier went on to talk about some black struggle. I thought, if there is some kind of struggle going on, she must be the only one in it. Everybody I know is chillin', just trying to enjoy life. She, on the other hand, with these Friday and Saturday night comments, busting up the radio hip-hop flavor mix, is the only one who is always uptight. I had every reason to take it personal. She started talking about how young black drug dealers are strong black men in the communities, but need to change their line of business because it's destroying the community. As far as I'm concerned, Soldier is just somebody who likes to hear herself talk. She obviously didn't know the time because the drug dealers don't destroy nothing. If there weren't people online to buy the product, then there would be no business. No drug dealer I know ever forced anybody, not one person, to take drugs. People do it voluntarily. They do it by choice. The niggas I know who sell drugs be trying to help the stupid crackheads. They be telling them to slow down and asking them, are they sure they want to sell their last whatever just to get a hit? I even know a dealer who told this pregnant girl he wouldn't sell her no more crack until after she had the baby. She just took her dumb ass to somebody else and got the crack anyway. Then, when she had the baby boy, she tried to sell him too. Now whose fault is that? People do what they want to. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe Sister Soldier just wants people to do what she wants them to do.
Why you even listening to this bullshit?
What the hell do you know?
Where are you taking me?
Home, little girl. Your father pays me and asks me to bring you home.
I thought you was your own man.
For $150, I'll run an errand. It's business. I'll pick you up, drop you off, collect my dough, and I'm out.
The $150 transaction was as smooth and non-incidental as a messenger service dropping off a package. After handing Midnight the money and closing the door, my father walked silently through the living room and into the den. The room was dark. He sat down, leaned back in his chair. The moonlight through the blinds lit half of his serious face.
Winter.
He said softly, "Yes, Daddy?" I asked.
What made you think you could spend the night in Brooklyn?
I asked Mommy. I wanted to see my friends. Natalie and me were supposed to.
I guess you're not understanding.
Not understanding what? I asked, checking my tone to ensure that I was not sounding disrespectful. Something Santiago doesn't tolerate.
Who you are, who I am, who we are.
He said each word with precision. He was starting to sound like some type of philosopher or something to me. This whole thing wasn't making any type of sense.
You're my daughter. You just can't wander off and go anywhere unprotected.
Anywhere, I said, upset. I went home. I went to Brooklyn. I went to the only place I know, where my peoples is at, where everybody knows me. Those are my streets, Daddy.
Do you think those streets love you? Those streets don't love you. They don't even know you. You could walk around those streets 1,000 nights and 1,000 days and they wouldn't even know your name. The streets don't love nobody.
It was crazy. His words were making me feel uneasy and I couldn't connect. I didn't like the feeling. I was used to feeling relaxed and in control. So what are you saying, Daddy? Are you saying that I can't go home anymore?
No, I'm not saying that.
'Cause, Daddy, I'm not hiding from anybody or scared of anything. You taught me that.
It's not about hiding. It's about being smart. I taught you that too. What makes you special, Winter?
He asked like it was the $50,000 Jeopardy question or some shit like that. I ran a question through my head and drew a blank.
What makes you special is me, Santiago, your father, your protection. You have full run of our projects when I lived there, 'cause I was holding it down, making everything all right. So everything was cool. Now this is home. This is where I rest my head. If I'm here and you are over there, I can't see you. If I can't see you, I can't protect you. When you're unprotected, you're wide open. Anything could happen.
But Aunt Lori saw me. She knew I was there. Uncle Stevie was there just like usual.
Look at my face, Winter, and never forget what I tell you. Santiago loves you. Your mother loves you. Don't confuse it. That's all you can depend on.
Luckily, I had copped the nickel bag earlier in Brooklyn. I went to the linen closet and grabbed a couple of towels. I closed my door, pulled out my pack of incense. My mom shouted, "Hell no, the incense is a dead giveaway." I went to my bedroom window, opened it, and decided I'd let the breeze in to whisk the smoke out. Sitting down on my bed, I pulled off my shoes. I opened my shirt, unsnapped my bra, and let my titties breathe. I slipped on my slippers, walked to my dresser drawer, stuck my hand underneath the folded blouses, and pulled out my Philly blunt. I cracked it open, took the tobacco out, flushed it down the toilet. I put the weed in, wrapped it, licked it, and stuck it under my nose as a teaser to my appetite. Yes, I needed to relieve my tension. I'm backed up sexually, stuck in the suburbs, and my dream lover is a mummy. Just as I went to position the towel to jam up the space in the door, my mom's knocked and without hesitation pushed open the door gently. I got up, threw the towel on the bed to cover up the blunt I had lying there. "Hey, Mama," I said, trying to act casual. I checked her face. You could always tell when Santiago was upset because it showed on my mother's face.
Your father really went off when I told him you were spending the night in Brooklyn.
"Yeah, we talked," I said, hoping to avoid 2 speeches in one night.
I tried to get him to loosen up, but you know how that goes.
She admitted. "Oh, that's the fly design you got," I said, checking her freshly sculpted, painted, and immaculate nails. "Where did you get them done?"
A little shop about 15 minutes away. Santiago took me.
"What else did you get? Don't be holding out on me. I know you got something else."
Just a little dress for me to rock tonight at my party.
She said. "Yeah," I replied, disinterested.
I know. That's how I'm starting to feel about these parties, too. I just need to get my whip so I can get in, out, and around.
"When do you think you'll get it?"
If I have it my way, and I always do, I'll get it next weekend.
She smiled confidently. "Yeah, but the way Santiago was talking, even after you get it, we ain't allowed in Brooklyn. Now you know that's crazy."
He's just protective, and sometimes he overdoes it. But girl, we can sneak.
She said, smiling. Her mahogany skin was glowing in the dim light. Mommy was pretty all right. A definite advantage to having babies at a young age. You get to chill with your moms like she's your sister or something. Fuck all those old stiff bastards complaining about teenage pregnancy, this and that. Me and my moms could party together. Nobody would ever know that she was my mom's. I got some shit in my closet that looks better on her than it does on me. I know some niggas from around the way in Brooklyn who'd rather fuck her than me. Now, they never admit it. It would be suicidal. Santiago would, Oh yeah, just the thought of Daddy snapped me back into reality. Sneak to Brooklyn, I laughed. Santiago runs Brooklyn. There's no sneaking in and out of his territory. Hell, he beat Midnight at the club and had him bring me home. Embarrassed the shit out of me. How did he know I was there?
Well, you know Big Mo got to answer to Santiago.
Mama said, being vague.
Speaking of Midnight, I'll bet you liked riding in his car.
She smiled knowingly. What? I played it off. She laid back on my bed, rolled over, and started tickling me like I was a little girl or something. Hitting all my secret spots, I cracked up with laughter. Midnight's cool, I said matter-of-factly.
Don't front on me, little hooker.
She said like she was really one of my girlfriends.
I see the way you look at him.
When? I asked.
When? Okay, when you were 13, when you were 14, when you were 15, and when you were 16. He's a good catch, though. A good man. Loyal, paid, strong.
He don't like me, though, I said, admitted something I would never tell one of my girlfriends.
It's not that. Midnight just likes life. Santiago would squeeze the life out of him.
I wish that were the truth. No, I'm saying, I wish it was that he was just scared of Santiago. I'm saying, he straight up don't like me, period, as a woman. He talks cold, says very little. He didn't even want to be nice to me on the way home.
Trust me, there is no way he don't like my baby. You're young, fine. You got everything a girl could want. Pretty hair, beautiful eyes, clothing, jewels. It's gotta be Santiago standing in the way.
So when you think Santiago will stop standing in my way?
Who knows?
She said, exasperated. My mother got up and headed toward the door. As she stepped out of my room, she leaned her head back in and smiled.
And don't light up that joint in the house. That will really make Santiago snap.
Then I thought to myself, it seems like the both of them know everything. But nobody was gonna stop me from getting my buzz on. I crawled outside my window, sat on my little slanted side of the roof, and puffed on lie in the spring breeze and moonlight. After the feeling of no worries came over me, I leaned back, closed my eyes, and drifted into the night. We were all seated in the family room. Santiago was playing chess against himself. My mother was flipping through her hundreds of album covers, her collection. My sisters were all glued to the television watching the Cartoon Network. I was reclining in a chair, redoing one of my fingernails when the doorbell rang. Santiago answered. When the door opened, he stood face to face with Midnight. Midnight looked Santiago dead in the eye and said, "We need to talk." Santiago led him into the den. I jumped off the reclining chair and tiptoed to the den door, plastering my ear against the side of the wall. Midnight told Santiago slowly and respectfully,
I know you love your daughter, and so do I. I know what I need to do as a man. I've been working with it for a long time, and I know I'm ready.
Santiago's face first held a look of surprise, then grew vexed. He remained cool as he leaned forward about to speak. Midnight quickly went on.
I know what I need to do as a man. I've been working on it for a long time, and now I'm ready. I wanted you to be sure that I'm for real. That my love for your daughter is for real.
Midnight reached into his inside pocket and pulled out an elegant black velvet ring box. He cracked it open, and the 2-carat diamond sparkled. My nosy eyes beamed in on the stone.
I want to marry Winner. I want to surround her with the finest things in life like she deserves, like you always have. My finances are solid, stashed away, ready. Maybe we'll buy a house up here, live next door to you.
Santiago smiled at the idea of keeping me within arm's reach. My inside screamed, "Hell no, not here." My heart interrupted and said, "Okay, anywhere, you fine-ass paid motherfucker." Santiago said,
Winter is still young.
Yes, young and beautiful, like your wife was when you two married.
Santiago checked Midnight's face to make sure that Midnight meant no ill by his comment. Then Midnight took control.
I respect you as a man, Santiago. I always have. I value your business, and I'll serve you well. But I'm my own man, and this is what I want. So what do you have to say? What's this up?
Santiago embraced Midnight. As Midnight's face pressed against Santiago's shoulder, he looked at me and said, with that masculine authority that made me hot,
Pack your stuff, shorty. It's me and you from here on out.
excited but not wanting to appear desperate, I threw her hands on my hip and said, let's see what you have here. Midnight opened the box and took out the ring. As he placed it on my finger, the phone rang, jerking me out of my sleep, ruining my dream. If only it had rung after the love scene. I snatched the telephone as my sleepy eyes checked the digital on my dresser. 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. What do you want? It was Natalie. She laughed.
My long distance is working. Hey, wake up, hooker. So what happened? Where did you go? Did you get it? How was it? Was it small? Was it big?
She fired questions like bullets. My mind was still sleepy. I needed enough energy to get my lies straight, because I was definitely about to tell some lies. We went out for a late night, early morning breakfast.
Where?
She demanded. He took me to one of those big fancy diners out in Queens. He had steak and eggs with potatoes. I had the shrimp and fries.
Shrimp and fries? That's not good breakfast food.
Girl, you know I don't eat breakfast.
Anyway, get to the good part.
Before I could even start talking, she was filling in the blanks for me.
Oh my goodness. Wait till Tasha finds out about this. It's on now.
Now Natalie bringing that whole Tasha's name up only gave me fuel. After breakfast, me and Midnight got back in the car. He took me to one of those lookout spots by the river. He started kissing me. Girl, his lips was so big and warm. He started rubbing my titties with those big-ass strong hands. Girl, I thought I was gonna explode. He started taking off my shirt, and that's when I went Brooklyn on his ass.
What? What happened?
I told that nigga, look, don't try to blame me out. If I'm gonna take off my clothes, you gonna take yours off too. You wanna see my body? Oh well, it's all here, but I wanna see your body too.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I lied.
So what happened?
He took his shirt off and said, now you take off yours. So I did. He took off his pants and said, now you take off yours. So I did.
Oh shit. Then what?
He took off his drawers and said, now take off yours.
Did you?
I damn sure did. Girl, I looked at his big-ass black bullhorn laying against that soft white leather car seat, and that was it. We got busy.
Was anybody looking?
Hell no. I don't know. We weren't worrying about that. After that wild sex, we just chilled butt naked. Him and his feet butt naked, me and my seat butt naked, puffin' lie.
Get out of here. You lying.
Girl, that's for real. I made sure my sweat sunk into that car leather just to let every other bitch know I was there. The next bitch that gets into that car is gonna smell me all over. We both laughed. Chapter 4. The next weekend came so swiftly. It was 12 noon when I woke up. It was my mom's voice. She was going off about how she was not spending another day caught up in the house. Where was her fucking car? She wanted to know.
Today is the day. Today is the day my fucking Benz is supposed to be parked outside my bedroom window with a big red bow on it. Where is it?
She demanded. The tone of my mother's voice was rare. I could hardly say I ever remember it being that rough. All I could think is here go two Concorde jets about to have a head-on collision. My three little sisters came running into my room, stuffing their little bodies under their covers with me. I expected to hear Santiago yell back, but he didn't. Instead, my mother just continued blowing her cool and doing something she told me not to do. She was making it clear who the boss was. A real woman was not supposed to do that. A bad bitch controlled without a man ever knowing that he was being dominated. A bad bitch was so slick that she made him think he was calling the shots while she planted the seeds and was the owner of all his thoughts. Not today. My mom's told Santiago she didn't want to hear no shit. He was going to go out with her today, her birthday, to buy that car. She was leaving with him, she instructed. After his business was transacted, Santiago was to buy that car she had been holding her breath for. She wasn't interested in no other presents, no matter what they were. Through the walls, I could hear the bass in Santiago's voice, but not his exact words. The next loud sound I heard was the door slamming. From the silence, I knew that the both of them were gone. As my mother said last week, she always had her way. Saturday evening, the stars fell down, 6 minutes after 6. 6 hours after their argument, I remember it clearly. That was the time the phone rang.
Windsor, get the kids ready. I'm coming to pick you up.
I didn't recognize the slow, steady voice. Wait, who is this?
This is Midnight. Listen, your father asked me to pick all of you up and bring you out here.
Oh, you're becoming a regular little taxi driver, huh?
This is serious. I'll be there in 2 hours.
Click. Damn, should I beep Santiago? This had never happened before. Then I thought to myself, Midnight can be trusted. I got the three little girls ready, and 2 hours later we waited anxiously at the door. My 8-year-old sister wanted to fight me for the front seat of Midnight's Acura. I told her to take her little ass to the back with the twins. I wonder what would make her think she would ride in the front seat with my man. Hell, she probably already had a crush on him. Younger girls start getting horny at a younger age every year. Where we going? I asked. My heart was filled with all kinds of feelings.
We have to rush. Just get in. I'll tell you when we get there. It's not for little girls to know.
Midnight tried to fill up the empty space with the radio. Other than the music, we rode in complete silence while one of my sisters tried to peel the last bits of sticky paper off her now-elated candies in the back. Oh my gosh, I thought to myself. I hope she don't suck the candy and leave it stuck to the side of the seat like she normally does. I imagine Midnight pulling over and throwing all of us out on the expressway for messing up his leather interior. I laughed to myself. Just then, the aggravating voice of Sister Soldier leaped out of the radio and started choking me.
The ancient African elders believed that what you sow, you reap. If you do something positive will come back to you. If you consciously do negative things, the negativity will rule your life.
I sucked my teeth and thought, why don't that bitch just move to Africa? She's always talking about some African mumbo jumbo. Somebody should stick a bone in her nose and a plate in her lip. Maybe then she'll feel at home and shut the fuck up. I made myself laugh, thinking, them damn Africans must have been some fucked up niggas. If they believed doing something positive caused positive things to happen, why are their asses all fucked up, bald-headed, naked, starving, stinking, and the whole nine? They must have been doing some foul shit. Hell, that bitch don't know. She just be talking to tarp. When we got to downtown Brooklyn, I asked Midnight where we was headed. He was turning right, Our old neighborhood was to the left.
I said I would tell you.
Minutes later, Midnight pulled over, put on his emergency blinkers, and asked me to get out. Puzzled, I got out. He came around to my side. He didn't let the girls get out. I said, I know we ain't leaving them in the car.
Come here. I gotta tell you something.
He put his arm around me and looked me dead in the eyes.
Your mother is in the hospital. She's been shot.
My whole mind went blank. It was like something took an eraser, the type they clean the blackboard with in school, and just wiped everything out. 1 second later, my mouth was screaming. My mind was blank. My body cold. Midnight's arms were around me, hugging me, embracing me, and trying to hide my face in tears from the girls. They had their faces glued to the window saying something like, "Ooh, Winter's kissing Midnight. We gonna tell Mommy." My body was stiff. My mind wouldn't think. I felt out of control. What do I do? What do I do now? Is she okay? Is she gonna... Midnight held me tighter, firmer, almost as if to demand, with his body, that I get it together.
She was shot in the face. I don't know how she is. Santiago is upstairs with her now. I'll watch your sisters. You go upstairs and check on the situation with her now. Vega will take you up in the elevator.
He said, nodding in the direction of one of my daddy's men stationed in the main lobby door of the hospital. You coming with me? I begged him.
No, this is my position. We don't want the little ones to know anything yet.
Upstairs, Santiago looked like a madman. His face was dark with sadness. When he looked at me, I could swear that I saw tears, something I could honestly say I never seen in his eyes before. He hugged me hard, strong, and warm. As he laid his head on top of my head, his voice whispered,
I'm sorry, I fucked up.
What happened, Daddy? Is she okay?
She's going to be alright. They're operating on her now. I should have just gotten her to learn. I shouldn't have hesitated. I never should have let her rot with me today. I knew better than that. What a stupid mistake. What a stupid fucking mistake. The motherfuckers is going to feel it. Violation.
He grabbed my face with both hands.
Go take care of your mother.
He said, using his eyes to point out his men stationed in the waiting room.
You take care of the children and stay with Midnight.
Where you going, Daddy? Can I see Ma? My words hit his back. He walked out the door. The doctors, nurses, attendants, hell, it took the entire hospital, it seemed like, to hold me back. I wanted to see my mother. They kept telling me, she's on the operating table. She'll be in intensive care later. Contamination, infection, blah, blah, blah. Pazez and Rodriguez, two more of my daddy's workers, were standing near the operating room doors. They was trying to look casual, but it's hard for two big black niggas from the streets to look casual in a hospital. It ain't like anybody was gonna mistake them for doctors or nothing. My mind started to clear up as I sat. It dawned on me to call Natalie.
I know it was those niggas from C Building on the other side. They've been trying to blow up around our way for some time now. On the low, they've been shaking niggas down, looting and terrorizing people. They got their own little operation going on. But damn, to blast Santiago's woman in the face? That's some raw unnecessary shit. The way I figure it, there are enough crackheads around here for everybody to get money. But they'll learn. They young boys anyway. They'll catch it. Santiago will set them straight. It's gonna be a bloodstorm in Brooklyn tonight.
She acted excited, like she was watching a heavyweight fight in Madison Square Garden or something.
Where you at?
The hospital. I mumbled back.
Where are the kids? With the housekeeper?
Nah, they downstairs with Midnight.
Midnight? What's he doing there? Oh, it's like that now, huh? Oh, that's your man now and shit.
I hung up. Rodriguez motioned to me to come toward him. Discreetly, he leans toward me, saying,
I'm taking you downstairs now. You won't be able to see your mother until tomorrow. Midnight is waiting downstairs in the front. You'll leave with him.
"What exactly happened?" I asked. I got no response. "Drop the kids off at Aunt Lori's house," I told Midnight from the passenger seat. "I want to go check on some stuff." He looked at me with complete defiance, told me that he already had the plans from Santiago and I should just sit back and do as I'm told. "Just let me make one stop then," I said, figuring I needed to be on my Brooklyn block where the shit was jumping off at. I needed to be with my girls, ready to do whatever we had to do.
That's the problem with all you women. Nobody can tell y'all shit. You never want to listen, never want to follow instructions. Then, when shit goes down, all the fuck you can do is cry.
Midnight said dryly, like he was 40 years old instead of 22. We crossed the state line into New Jersey. Midnight pulled into the Marriott Hotel parking lot. As many times as I had thought about me and Midnight's hot bodies all twisted up on some clean, crisp, cold white hotel sheets, I never imagined that we would be there under these circumstances.
We're gonna stay here tonight. I'll check in for all of us. Most likely nobody will ask, but if they do, we're one family renting a suite. My name is Cooper.
Hooper, is that your real name?
See? You don't even know my name. Remember that.
I thought to myself. Is that supposed to be some kind of fucking answer or something? The suite was immaculate. Top of the line. I couldn't have asked for more if I was on a honeymoon. There was one king-size bed and a living room with a couch with a pull-out bed inside. Each room had its own television. The bathroom was huge marble down and looked brand new. I stepped in there, took a deep breath, and figured maybe after the kids went to sleep, we could order room service, some Cristal, and sip it while we took a bubble bath together in the jacuzzi. I needed something to relieve all my pressure, and why not get with the man I always wanted?
You four can take this bed.
Midnight said, pointing to the bedroom.
I'll sleep in the living room. We'll be here for the next 3 days, so get comfortable and chill. You three, don't make a mess.
He said with a certain joking tenderness that must be reserved only for children. 3 days, I hollered with my hand on my hips. Can I talk to you for a minute, please? I pointed toward the living room. He rejected my order, turned the television to the Disney Channel for my sleepy sisters, then came into the living room at his own pace. What is this shit about 3 days? I have one dress with me, the one I'm wearing. The 3 little bears have no clothes and already have spilled shit all over themselves. My mother's in the hospital. I want to see her. I need to know what's going on. I'm not down with this Mission Impossible shit. And as for that shit you was talking in the car about women crying when shit breaks down, that's bullshit. I'm a fighter. I've held heat before and I know how to use it. I can cut a bitch with my razor so fast and so clean, she wouldn't even know what happened until she bled to death. The problem with you, Midnight, is you think you know everything. What you're not understanding is that I can help. I can be your right-hand man. Just let me know what's up, what's going on. Nothing moved except Midnight's jawline. Something Mama said was a definite sign of a man's anger. He reached in his back pocket, pulled out a stack of bills.
First thing in the morning, I'll take you out to get some clothes. Don't worry. I realize you're a high-maintenance bitch. Gotta keep you up in the style you're accustomed to. How many fighters do you know find themselves in the middle of a war and all they can think about is fashion and the clothes on their back? Hell no. You won't ever be my right-hand man.
I was impressed with the big stack of bills and excited about going shopping. I wondered if this was his money or if Santiago had given it to him, and he knew all this time that he had orders to take me shopping. Maybe it was a little bit of both. Maybe he was using his own money, but knew Santiago would pay him back. Okay, one last question. I pushed, knowing I was aggravating him, yet enjoying the attention. What clothes are we going to wear out to go shopping in the morning when all of our stuff is dirty? Never mind, I know, the laundry service. As I pushed 8 to call down to the laundry room, he put his finger on the phone, disconnecting my call. With a muscular hand on my shoulder, he said sarcastically,
Think like you come from the projects. Take your clothes off and wash them in the sink. Hang them up on the heater to dry. You know how to wash clothes, don't you? The laundry service is closed now. It's almost midnight.
After stripping the 3 little bears and tossing the clothes in the sink, I put them under the sheets and blankets. I talked to them about the things we will be doing tomorrow and assured them that everything was okay. They knocked out to sleep one by one like clockwork. I slipped off my dress and stood checking myself out in the bathroom mirror. Thank God I listened to Mama's advice about always having clean, sexy underwear. If I was a tackhead, I could have got caught out here with some beat-up drawers on my ass, with a shit stain and a big old hole in them. Just the thought cracked me up. I peeled off my panties, undid my bra, and put them in the sink. I stepped into the shower and let the warm water turn hotter, steaming my whole body from the tension of my crazy day. My mind was downloading slowly. What about Mama? What would her face look like now? Would she have to get plastic surgery? Would her face be temporarily disfigured? What would Santiago think about her face? Of course he would make sure that she had the best medical treatment and everything. How long would she have to stay in the hospital? Oh my gosh. Would I be a professional babysitter getting stuck with my little sisters? Santiago would definitely have to hire the housekeeper full-time instead of part-time to watch the kids. What about Midnight? What was his beef with the world? Or was it that he just liked pissing on my world? For once, Mama was wrong. She told me that Midnight wanted me. She told me that only his fear of Santiago stood in the way. But that was not what I saw in his eyes, fear. He never seemed fearful of anything or anyone. He just straight seemed disinterested in me. Now, he and I were forced together for 3 days, like being stuck on a deserted island. If I was the last woman on Earth, would Midnight turn me down? What the hell could he be thinking? Stepping out of the shower, I grabbed 2 towels, wrapped one around my wet hair and the other around my body. I swerved into the living room where Midnight had positioned himself in front of the TV. His dress shirt was open. Underneath, he was wearing one of those crisp white undershirts. I could see his gun on his waist, half tucked in his pants. My eyes slid down his legs. I could see another gun he held near his ankle. The blackness, the guns, his muscle structure, that white shirt, his white teeth, and his unfiltered anger was so seductive I had to try to get with him. Do you want me to wash your clothes? I'm getting good at it now.
No, that's okay.
He said without even so much as taking a look at me. I stepped over into the chair opposite him. I'm tired, I said, stretching out my arms slowly above my head.
Go to bed then.
He answered cruelly, as if he didn't want to be bothered. I picked up my legs and placed them on the arm of my chair. I was now going to become the freshly showered, care-wrapped, body-wrapped in a towel ivory girl. I started playing games with my legs, repositioning them, opening them slowly, closing them slowly. I was making it possible for him to see the hairs on my pussy if he only wanted to. When I got excited enough, my juices would start to flow, releasing the scent of a willing pussy. Definitely something he wouldn't be able to fight. Are you a homosexual, Midnight? 'Cause if you are, that's cool. To each his own and all that good shit. He laughed a real laugh, and without turning around, he said,
Go to bed, little girl.
Little girl, do these look like little girl titties to you? I stood up and released the towel, dropping it to the floor. I wanted him to see my 34Ds so he could take back his insult. I wanted him to see my whole body. He stayed stiff like a mummy, unaffected by my nakedness. And I mean, I was butt naked, standing in the middle of the hotel suite which was designed for fucking. Midnight leaned up, grabbed the remote, and started surfing channels.
I'll see you in the morning.
He said finally, like a father would. I sucked my teeth, picked up my towel, and returned to the bathroom. I washed, rinsed, and twisted the clothes as if they were the source of my anger, laying each piece out to dry separately, some by the heater, some on the shower curtain. I tiptoed into the bedroom, not wanting to wake my sisters. I grabbed one of the pillows from the bed and sat my bare ass on the comfortable chair next to the bedroom window where I slept. In the morning, I used the hotel blow dryer conveniently situated on the bathroom wall to finish drying the damp clothes. I slid into my dress, hating the idea of repeating yesterday's fashion. Without a proper cleaning, the clothes were stiff and rough like cardboard. Brushing my hair into a French bun, I heard Midnight talking. I pushed open the door connecting to the living room, abruptly ended the conversation he was having on his cell phone. "What's up?" I asked.
Your mother is out of surgery. She's still in intensive care, but she's gonna be all right. Montenegro and Ferreira are in the hospital now, looking after her.
"Yeah, right," I mumbled. "The first people I'm sure she'll want to see when she opens her eyes has to be the bodyguards." I rolled my eyes. "Come on and drive me over to the hospital. I want to see my mother."
Nah, your father said you should relax. We'll get the kids ready and all go shopping. They should like that. They could run a little.
Santiago called? You knew I wanted to talk to him. "But then you called me to the phone," I screamed.
Take it easy, Winter.
I don't know how it happened, but just then, I lost control. "Is it that you don't hear me, or am I speaking French, motherfucker? I want to see my mother. I want to talk to my father." I turned quick and grabbed the hotel phone so I could beep Santiago. Midnight grabbed my waist, causing me to drop the phone. I spun around wildly, asking, "What the fuck is up with you?" He didn't answer. I pushed him. As I swung on him, he used his body to restrain me. "What's up with you two?" the 8-year-old asked. Midnight turned my body and face away from the girls and whispered in my ear,
It's all right, Shorty, and you will break down sooner or later. But you gotta hold it together, or your sister's gonna start bugging too.
When I saw my own tears fall into my hands, I got mad at myself for crying. It was not like me. But I liked the feeling of being uptight on Midnight. I liked the way he was holding me. I even liked the way he was treating me right at this moment. So I pushed it. I took a genuine situation and was about to make it work for me. Cry some more, get even closer for a little longer. But then, my 3 sisters tried to muscle their way into the act. One by one, they started to cry too. Midnight released my body, looked around the room at the 4 weeping willows, and got a look on his face that indicated he couldn't stand the pressure. He put his hand in his pocket and pulled out a stack of cash.
All right, whoever showers and gets dressed first gets $50.
Their tears turned into excitement as they shot into the bathroom to box each other out for the dough. The money was like smelling salts. It revived everyone. Midnight turned to me.
Yo, Shorty tough. 2 more days, that's it. Then you'll be back home. Try to stay cool, you know?
I couldn't answer. I was straight in love with this nigga. I was replaying my new nickname, Shorty Tough. Trying to break the spell, Midnight waved the stack of cash back and forth in front of my eyes.
Yo, you must be an imposter. Where's Winter? Nobody has to ask her twice to go shopping.
He said, flashing a rare smile. I laughed, grabbed my jacket, and said in a sexy way, "I'm ready." At the mall, the war of wills kicked in. I had one side of the hanger with the miniskirt I wanted to purchase, while Midnight's tight grip held the other side. My sisters ran in and out of the aisles under the clothes racks, while me and Midnight argued. With one hand on my hip, I clenched my teeth and spit. I've worn skirts like this before. It's my choice. Don't act like you never seen me rock a mini before. How and why did Midnight think he could tell me what I can and cannot wear? Now I'm saying, maybe if he was giving me some thick, making me feel good and relax, I might have considered his ideas.
You check this out, shorty. I'm responsible for you right now. Whatever you did before is your business. For these 2 days, you're gonna wear something decent. Come on, put this shit back.
He grabbed my hand and led me out of the boutique, while my sisters traveled close behind. His touching my hand shot a sensation between my legs and through my body. Now, I wanted that miniskirt. I had others like it. But him grabbing me in the rough style made me want him even more. It seemed now that he cared. I was breaking through his ice-cold ways, and it was worth temporarily losing control. He led me upstairs into Bloomingdale's.
Now wait here.
He moved around the clothes rack with the rhythm of a leopard on a hunt. He held up an Eileen Fisher pantsuit.
All right, this is banging. This is something I would pick out for my sister to wear. Let's go get some shoes.
Now, the pantsuit was fly, I'll admit. The material was high quality and all that good shit. But Midnight's comment had reduced me to the level of his sister. Is this something you would want Tasha to wear?
Who?
Tasha, your girl. 'Cause I don't give a fuck about what you would want your sister to wear. I want to know what you want your girl Tasha to wear.
Tasha is not my girl.
He denied. I rolled my eyes. That's not what I heard.
Fuck what you heard. You and them silly bitches you be with. They don't know me. They just chickens. A bunch of chickens who ain't got shit to do except run their mouths.
I placed both hands on my hips. So are you saying you weren't fucking Tasha?
Is that what you want me to do to you? Fuck you and talk about it with some other hoe?
I weighed his words, thinking, is this some type of trick question or something? Yes, I did want him to fuck me. Hadn't I made that clear? No, I didn't want him to talk about me with some other hoe. I want him to myself. Was he calling me a hoe?
Fuck it. Wear what you want to wear.
He said, frustrated. I got all the things he liked for me. We picked up some clothes for the kids. We ended up in FAO Shorts toy store. Midnight wanted to find me some games for the girls to play with to minimize their missing mommy and daddy. And most of all, to stop them from asking too many questions. The more fun they had, he figured, the less questions they would ask. When we were finished, we had so much shit it looked like a late Christmas. We had so much fun we had forgotten about lunch and had worked up quite an appetite for dinner. It was clear to me that Midnight was in control for now. So I didn't even ask where we were going to eat and tried to give directions. I just sat back and waited for him to take us to the spot of his choice. We went to the North American Lobster Company somewhere in Jersey City. I felt nothing but delight. The tables were big and round. Each one had a beautiful candle centerpiece with sexual flicking flames. The male customers wore white shirts and ties, placing their business jackets carefully over the back of their chairs. The women quietly talked to their mates, their faces soft and expressive. 100% class. There was no doubt that Midnight was as smooth as Santiago. He was made just for me. He lifted Mercedes and Lexi into their chairs, pulled the chair out for Portia. Do you have kids, Midnight? Silence. Answer the question, I insisted.
You ever see me with a kid?
He asked, now aggravated. That's not the point. A lot of niggas got kids everywhere, but you never see them.
Yeah, well, I'm not a lot of niggas. If I had a kid, everybody would know.
I felt easy again. How old are you anyway? I asked, already knowing the answer.
You're starting to sound like the police.
Not hardly, I said, smiling real sexy-like.
I'm 22.
Without missing a beat, without being asked, I responded, I'm 18 in 3 weeks. He looked at me serious-like.
Lying sure comes easy to you. You don't have to take a breath, blink, twitch, nothing. The lies just roll straight off your tongues.
How old do you think I am? I asked Midnight. Portia jumped in.
She's 16. She'll be 17 in January.
I pinched her leg under the table. Back in the hotel room, we played Go Fish, Pity Pat, I Declare War, Old Maid, Candyland, Trouble, and Sorry, before the 3 little ones passed out. Everything was less tense than yesterday evening, and for me, this meant an opportunity. Before I could organize my approach, however, Midnight grabbed the remote and clicked on CNN News. I got up and stood in front of the television. He had entertained the kids. It was time for him to entertain me. He got an instant look of disgust on his face.
Why don't you do something with yourself?
Asked Midnight, annoyed. I glanced up toward the mirror to check my appearance. I looked good to me, so I asked, something like what?
I don't know. What do you do? What are you into?
My mom drew a blank.
So what's up, shorty? What's the answer?
I smiled, liking the fact that he was playing with me. The answer to what? I asked. He shook his head as though I was frustrating him or something. What? Is there something you want to hear? Something I'm supposed to say? What?
I asked the question. What are you into? What do you like to do?
My mind started clicking. I like to enjoy myself, I said with much attitude. What do you know about that, Midnight? I like to feel good, relax, get high, buck, dance, shake my ass, shop. I like to be turned on. I'd love to turn another motherfucker on.
What do you read? What's the name of the last book you read?
I like movies. I like chilling with my girls. Matter of fact, if I wasn't stuck here with you, I had plenty of good shit to get into.
What you gonna be when you grow up, Winner?
Whatever. Maybe I'll get a job like yours, I said, cutting back at him and letting him know me and him are the same kind of people.
I got plans.
He said, going back into himself. Midnight went over to his leather bag, unzipped it, and said,
Here, pick out a book or a tape. Do something with yourself. Just stay on my way.
The Art of War, The Wretched of the Earth, The Judas Factor were a few of the books Midnight had in his case. They didn't look interesting to me, and I wasn't gonna read some shit I didn't like just to get his attention. I went for the tapes. He had Sade, I'll Be Sure, Stephanie Mills, and Vogue and Blackstreet. I snatched up his Walkman. The wire for the headphones was twisted in between Midnight's wallet flap. When I pulled the Walkman's wire, the wallet flipped open. With my back to him, I went through his stuff. He had a picture of a dark-skinned older woman. She looked about 30-something. She had dark eyes and was wearing a scarf. The next window was a picture of a girl. She seemed about 14 years old, with a cute little face and big innocent eyes. I figured it must be his sister. She seemed way too young to be his girlfriend. She was dark just like him. Also inside the wallet was a piece of paper folded twice over. It was old and worn. I opened it carefully, trying not to make noise. It was a flyer advertising a Sister Soldier speaking event. Covering most of the page was a picture of her. The voice from the radio and the face on the picture didn't match. I had pictured her to look like a man, rough hands and veins popping out of her neck. In the picture she looked normal, young, with a decent face. She looked like a regular uptown Harlem girl. You know, in the picture she had her mouth wide open. On the bottom of the page was an event address. Brooklyn Friendship Baptist Church on Herkimer Street. I quickly folded it up and slid it back into the wallet. I laid the wallet back into his overnight bag and went back to my room, closing the connecting door. Taking one of the pillows from the bed, I set up the corner chair for myself once again. I turned on an old Albie Shore jam and drifted out to All I Do Is Think of You, Night and Day. I can't say that I remember my entire dream that night, but I do remember a vision of me and Midnight's children. There were 3 of them. The oldest was a nappy-headed, rugged-looking boy, my son. Rough the way I like 'em. The girls had good hair like me. They were the color of hot caramel with diamond earrings. All of them were styling in complementary colors. Pele jumpers with some kicks so fly they ain't even been invented yet. When I pushed the door open the next morning, Midnight was stretched out on the floor doing push-ups in his undershirt and undershorts. He was breathing and sweating. My eyes raced across his body.
I'll drive you home at about 10 tonight. Everything's straight. Santiago will be there. We just need to find something to do for the kids today. You know, to get their attention.
At the count of 150, he dropped and rolled over on his back. He curled up his fists in his undershirt, exposing the solid six-pack of his stomach.
What you think we can get the shorties into today?
He asked. I didn't respond.
You always looking for trouble. Some shit you can't handle.
I smiled. He looked into my eyes and smiled. Midnight delivered us home at 10 p.m. sharp. My handsome father was standing in the doorway waiting. His white linen suit gleamed in the light of the moon. His big hands rested in his pockets. He embraced Midnight as if he was family. He held my young sisters in his arms one by one and gave me the warmest, securest hug back into my safe home. The house was extra clean. The music and old Earth, Wind and Fire album played softly in the background. Santiago took Midnight into the den. Midnight came out a short while later, offering a general good night without so much as a glance in my direction. Santiago sent my sisters off to bed with the idea that Mommy was away, as if on a trip, and would be back home next weekend with candy and presents for everyone. Daddy followed me to my bedroom. I knew to be quiet. Santiago looked more peaceful than he had did the day of the shooting incident. I switched on the lamp on the vanity table, and the added light revealed a strange scar on the right side of my father's head. There was a maroon-colored dent hidden close to the right side of his hairline. The scar just made him look more masculine than ever, just tough, sexy, unstoppable. All right, Daddy, just fill me in. Whatever you need me to do, I'm down for you. You just let me know the plan. He smiled. How's Mommy? I asked.
Your mother's okay. She's a soldier. She'll be home by the end of the week. Now she'll have bandages. She'll have to take it easy for a while. But we're all here to make it easy for her. You know how conceited she is. So don't act like anything's wrong with her face. She will have to have some type of treatment after a couple of weeks. I got something to make her forget the whole thing. Take a look.
He signaled me to follow him. He led me down the hallway to the back window. My mouth dropped open when I saw the big red set S600 V12 Mercedes-Benz with a thick red bow and ribbons everywhere. Oh shit, I mumbled. My mind started working up a new wardrobe. If you're gonna sport a ride like this, you gotta be dressed to kill. Me and Mommy would have to go shopping immediately. Santiago was still talking, but I couldn't hear him anymore. I kept seeing the expression on Natalie and Simone's faces when I came to Brooklyn pushing not a 190 Beatty Benz, not a 280, but a S600 V12. Would my mother let me drive it? Or would she only think of herself? Would she make me wait until Santiago bought me a car? Or would she kick it with me like sisters would? Wait a minute, she was sick. Maybe she would need me to drive her around and do errands for her. Maybe she'd be a passenger for like about a year or so. Okay, I thought. Maybe she'd let me drive her around, but she wouldn't let me chill in a car with Natalie in them. It would defeat the purpose of having a red Benz if you couldn't flash it for your girls, ride around flexing. You know how many niggas would be on my bra strap if they saw me behind the wheel? Mad niggas. I'd be making them beg me, do shit they wouldn't ordinarily do, kiss my ass, suck my toes. I started cracking up. Santiago looked at me like I was bugging. I straightened my face.
Now, I know a lot of cats who can shot before. Shot all over the body. The leg, the chest, the stomach. But every dude I know who been shot in the head, never been the same no more. That's the shit that worries me. That's the shit that makes me want to kick my own ass for letting this happen. Winter, where's your head at? I'm talking to you. If me and you are on point, everything else will fall in place. Here's what I need from you. Stay out of Brooklyn until I tell you it's okay.
What?
Now listen to you. 10 minutes ago you were saying, just tell me the plan. I'm down for whatever, Santiago. Now you ready to betray me?
No, Santiago, never betrayal. Betrayal is for suckers. That's what you taught me. I'll do what you want. I'll stay out of Brooklyn until you tell me otherwise.
And less talking is better. A whole lot less talking. You know how we do. The less you know, the better off we all are. And don't get too comfortable just because we're out here in the suburbs. Play your hand close to your chest, just like you're still in the ghetto. Trust no one and answer no questions. Don't give anybody our phone number who doesn't already have it. Now don't get paranoid, just don't get sloppy.
A long pause fell. I broke the silence. You know, when Midnight called the night of the incident and said that he was coming to get us, I didn't know whether or not I should have beeped you to confirm what was going on, or just going along with what he was telling me to do. I figured everything was cool with him, 'cause it always been.
It's good that you thought twice about it. But Midnight's clean. He's as loyal as a blood-born son. I never had a problem out of him. I couldn't have left him with my girls if I didn't think I could trust him with my money and my life. Why? Everything went okay, did it?
No, it went fine. He was a real gentleman. I stated firmly, so as not to cause no problems between the two men I love. Where did you meet Midnight?
He was just a kid who had a brush with them all. You know how they do. Don't want to give a kid a second chance. They force a man into a position where he can't survive, can't make no money. But when I first saw him, I knew he would be a good worker. He just had it in his eyes. Plus, he didn't have no family. A cat like that is gonna be loyal. He need to be able to take care of himself.
What happened to his family?
I haven't seen you this interested in nothing. What's all the questions about?
You know, Daddy, I'm growing up. Look at me. I'll be 17 soon. Santiago watched me spin from left to right.
Yeah, you are growing up. I've been thinking about that a lot lately.
He put his head down into his hand as though this topic was too heavy for him. What about it? I asked.
Do you know what I want for you? I want you to settle down, meet a nice guy. One of those budding doctors or lawyers or engineers.
You talking crazy, Daddy.
No, seriously, Winter. My life from the outside is all good, but believe me, whether it's actually all good or bad, right or wrong, there's no letting up. No time to relax and just enjoy life. It's right when you think you've made enough big moves. Now you can take a deep breath. That's when the next guy gets you. He'll figure he caught you sleeping. Call you a tired old fool and move on you. Nobody wants to be all the time with one eye open looking over your shoulder and one eye at the door. You, Winter, you deserve better. You deserve to relax, kick back, have the easy and finer things in life. No stress. One of these big-headed doctors, lawyers, engineer boys around this neighborhood can give you that. Men at Midnight's line of work can't.
Chapter 5. When Mama was wheeled into the house the following week, it didn't matter that Santiago had coached us on how to act and what to say. By this time, he had told my younger sisters that Mama fell down and had a little accident where she cut her face. But no rehearsal could prepare them for what they saw. Anybody who knew Mama could only be thinking one thing. Damn, who was that? She looked bad. Me and Magdalena tried to smile and make light of the situation, but that look of shock and horror that came over the kids' faces when they saw her could not be erased by any joke. Mama was thinner than usual. The area around her mouth was twisted and disfigured. She still had a piece of bandage covering a small piece of her face. There was only one thing I was sure of. I would be driving the big Benz. Later that evening, while Santiago was out, I pushed my mother's door open and quietly walked in. "What's up, Mama? How you feeling?" She was responding, but her words were slurred. She sounded like an old-style wax record with the needle dragging on it. "Okay, Mama, don't talk," I said, holding my hand up and smiling wide to make her feel comfortable. "I got a lot to say. Let me fill you in. Nordstrom's has the perfect all-leather red Adrian Venditti suit for you. I even spotted some red driving gloves that go with it real nice. You hurry up and get better, 'cause we gonna be cruising." She gave me a sigh, then a half smile. I knew that meant I was making her feel good. Hell, this was Mama. I knew what made her feel good. "The housekeeper is here full time now. We've been taking care of everything. The girls miss you so much. They're real happy you're home. Oh, and Santiago, he's like a puppy without his woman. You gotta hurry up and get better, 'cause he needs you." Just then, with the mention of Santiago's name, one tear rolled down Mama's left eye. "Don't worry, Mama. If there's anything you need, I'll get it for you. We're gonna get it together." I leaned over, gave her a kiss on the forehead, then whispered in her ear, "We bad bitches, remember? Bad bitches don't die." Again, she cried instead of smiling. I tried to remain cool. "Girl, Santiago's gonna get you the best of everything, no doubt. Your face gonna look even better than it did before the accident." At Mama's gesture, I handed her a pen and a pad from her nightstand. She scribbled a note to me, which read, "Stay out of Brooklyn." Overcoming boredom was my new project in life. I had spoken with my girls from Brooklyn, but I ended those conversations as soon as the questions started flowing. Usually the questions started flowing immediately. Of course, nothing but a Mack truck could stop Natalie's mouth from yapping. She volunteered the information that some serious shit had gone down around our way, and some peeps had turned up missing. Which really meant nothing to me, except nosy niggas around the way ain't seen certain people for a while. But, for all they knew, niggas could be down south visiting relatives or some shit like that. The block was hot, that's how Natalie put it, which meant that 5-0 was everywhere. That shit did scare me, 'cause we always have plenty of cops around the way in Brooklyn. Sometimes, they want a scene of the crime and look the other way 'cause they had a piece of the action. The way I figured it, everybody had to have a hustle to survive. The cops wasn't no threat as long as their cut was in it. As Santiago said, you gotta know how to spread the cheese around the table. Natalie also filled me in on the up-and-coming cuties who was buzzing around the way and the goings-on. She had seen Midnight only once in passing. He didn't say shit to her. He never did, and according to Natalie, he just seemed to keep everything on the down low. He hadn't been to the club, and Tasha's been running around with little Nickel. I wasn't going to tell her about the new Benz, but it was taking all that I had in me to keep it a secret. Then Natalie remembered that my birthday was next week on Friday. She said she wanted to big me up on my birthday, take me out, get me some bubbly, and do our thing. The bonus was that Slick Kid, her man at the moment, was cool with Bullet. We could double date and live it up at their expense. Bullet? I asked. Little Bullet?
Girl, get up on it. Little Bullet is Bullet now. And ain't nothing little about him.
I thought about it for a second. I always thought Bullet was a little cutie, swift on his feet, a fast talker, and definitely had some hustle in him. He was a small timer though. Not the type I ever considered to set up with or marry, but I could easily swing an episode with him. The puzzle was that I couldn't go to Brooklyn. I also couldn't mention that I wasn't allowed to go to Brooklyn. I had been stalling and lying to Natalie about why I wasn't coming around the way. Security at our house was at an all-time high. The Saturday night parties were dead. Other than Magdalena, security, and the workers, we couldn't invite no house guests. Now, I needed to come up with a compromise, an alternative. This date was something I needed in order to connect with myself and my people. I really needed the attention. Mama had been hogging all of it up lately. Santiago been either having meetings in the den, out working the streets, or on the phone. Yeah, I'm down for a double date, I told Natalie. I'll call you back to set up the details, but let Bullet know I'm all in. Strategizing came easy to me. I got that from Daddy. I just laid the problem out like a chessboard and thought of the different angles to come at it. The key was to be able to relax enough to see the whole situation in your head. If you got stressed out, Santiago taught me, then you start making mistakes, overlooking critical shit. Now, I wasn't a chess player myself, but everyday problems, I could decipher that shit. Thoughts was running through me like a high-speed train. Stretched out on my bed, I came up with a brilliant plan. I say it was brilliant because it wasn't just a simple everyday plan. It was one that took everything and everybody and every possibility into consideration. There was only 1 week left until my birthday. I started activating my plan that same afternoon. Mother was out of the confinement of her room and slowly moving throughout the house. Her mouth was still crooked and her face stiff and slightly swollen. She wouldn't go outside because of the embarrassment of her appearance. She was waiting for some type of operation to put her face back in order, but it was still too soon. The doctor said she had a few weeks of healing before her body could undergo another operation. I knew she was feeling bad. In fact, this was the first consideration of my plan. Mama, you're looking good today, I lied. I can see where you're healing. I touched the left side of her face with 2 fingers. Listen, let's go outside and head to the mall. She rolled her eyes at me. No, really, Mama. I picked out some fly things for you. Since your face is looking better, you might as well get back on your feet. I know you like to be on top of things. You do want to look good for Santiago and all. Mama smiled. It was funny. Everything could be fucked up, but mention Santiago and Mama's whole world would light up. But still, she protested.
I can't drive. It's not safe. I don't feel ready yet.
Mama, I can drive. I'll take you anywhere you want to go. Treat you like the queen you are. We can leave the kids with Magdalena. How about it? I opened my arms wide to give her a hug. She smiled.
I've been dying to get in my new car, but I didn't want to torture myself.
Don't worry, Mommy. Just remember, I know how you feel. We have both been trapped in this house too long. But today is our day, and we might as well enjoy it. I helped Mama get dressed and ready. We picked out a full wig and tried to hide the left side of her face by letting the hair fall in front. I lent her my sharp leather hat. We went outside, cut the red ribbon, and both got high off the smell of the fresh leather interior. Pushing the Benz was like being the President of the United States. It rolled like a private jet. Even the potholes couldn't affect the smoothness of the ride. Everybody I passed on the road looked to see who was inside, yet the tinted windows shielded us like we were top-notch celebrities. Mama looked happy discovering more and more features in her car. The wood paneling, her engraved initials, the CD player, digital display, lighted mirrors, and so on. She relaxed. I knew I had accomplished step one, getting Mama used to the idea of me driving her car. I had to get her on my side so we could convince Santiago I needed to drive this car on my birthday. Mama and I got manicures and even pedicures at the mall. We even let this butch-like Swedish lady give us each a massage. We ended our day with a dinner. Wait until Santiago sees your new outfits, I teased her. He's gonna chase you all around the house.
He won't have to run fast to catch me,
she teased.
Winter. Santiago told me when I was in the hospital, he had midnight watching you and the girls. I didn't tell him and I thought it was a stupid idea. We already were dealing with enough. But I wanted to check with you to see what happened. I know how you feel about midnight.
I avoided her eyes. Nothing happened, Mama. Not a damn thing. He was everything Santiago wanted him to be. He walked a straight line. I guess I'm not as good as you moms. I can't get what I want from that man. He doesn't like me.
He likes you.
She snapped back.
He'd be crazy not to like you. You have everything any man could want.
Mama had tears in her eyes again. It doesn't matter anyway. Santiago said he doesn't want me with a man like Midnight. Something about being dangerous and unpredictable. I gotta tell you, I was shocked to hear that. All of a sudden, he started talking about I should marry some doctor, lawyer type of guy. Not nobody like him. I guess it's because of what happened to you, Mama. What do you think? If you had to do it again, Mommy, what would you do? Would you have married some engineer or doctor? Mommy cried.
Never, never. I love Santiago more than I love my own life. The hell was some other man. Santiago is the only man. He takes care of me. He does everything a man's supposed to do. He has given me everything. If I had to catch a bullet for him, so what? I'd rather they shot me than him. There'd be no sense of living without him.
Her words fell on me like huge rocks. I wasn't used to this kind of talk. I was impressed by Mama's loyalty to Santiago and hoped one day me and Midnight would share the same kind of love. So you still think Midnight's a good catch for me? Mama sipped her Coke through the straw and said,
He's gorgeous. He is strong. He's a young Santiago. It don't get no better than that. Let me work on Santiago. By the time they're 18, I could see him giving his okay. Hell, it's progress that he talked to you about men, period. That means he's seeing that you're becoming a woman. He can't hold on to you forever.
I exhaled, rolled my eyes. 18? By that time, I'll be so horny I'll die. We both laughed.
You're young. Have fun. It's not like you gotta sit around waiting for midnight. He'll come around.
How's he gonna come around when he's in Brooklyn and I'm all the way out here?
I'll figure it out. We'll get him up to the house or something. We'll work on it. But you stay out of Brooklyn.
Until when?
Until Santiago says so.
The next day, I strategically dropped bits of information about a party going on at Hofstra University, which is about an hour from our house. If I was going to meet college-educated men, like Santiago suggested, I had to start going to some of these events. By the end of the week, I had buttered Mama up with compliments about her face. Now she was comfortable with lending me the car on my birthday and allowing me to go to a party at the university. However, I still had to get permission from Daddy to go out at night, even if it was my birthday. Convincing Santiago was always a hard bridge to cross. He just had a natural suspicion about everything. One slight thing triggering his intuition will cause the whole thing to get shut down. I waited in the kitchen Monday night for him to come home. Santiago, how you feeling? I asked sweetly.
I'm okay, baby girl. What you need?
Who said I need something?
You're looking and sounding so innocent. You gotta be guilty or something.
He was talking in a joking way. I want to show you something, Daddy. Stay right here. I ran back to my bedroom and returned with my birthday outfit on a hanger. It was a black satin Chinese dress. I held my Joan and David shoes in the other hand. In case you forgot, Friday is my birthday.
Have I ever forgotten your birthday?
He asked, smiling. Listen, Papa. So, what I'm saying is, Hofstra University is giving a sorority party on my birthday. I want to go. Mama said I could drive her car, and I plan to make friends like you said. The school is in Long Island. I might even meet some big-headed lawyer guy. I killed him with my smile. So, what do you say, Santiago?
Who you going with?
I'm going with Vanessa, I said to my own surprise. I had instantly conjured her up. She doesn't have a car, so I'll pick her up. I met her at the mall. She lives about an hour from here, in Deer Park. She's gonna be a sophomore at Hofstra next year. She's studying to be a psychiatrist and...
Okay, alright, don't fast talk me. If your mother said you can use her car, then fine. Be careful. And Winter, you are not to go to Brooklyn. Don't bullshit me. Don't give me no excuses. None of that. Stay out of Brooklyn. Be home by 3 a.m. Winter, if you meet some big-headed lawyer guy, have him come here by the house before...
Before what? I asked innocently.
Before I have to break his neck for trying something stupid.
Thursday night, I tied up the loose ends with Natalie. I played it cool, but I was so excited it was hard to sleep. I turned on my radio, dimmed the light, and let Jodeci help my eyelids close. When I woke up Friday morning, my sisters were all jumping up and down on my bed, smiling in my face, acting like they were having a sugar rush or something. What are you doing in my room? I asked. Happy birthday, the twins yelled. Portia rolled her eyes. We thought you'd never get up. What's the hurry? Daddy went out, the twins said. So I yelled at them. So he left a birthday present for you down in the living room, and we are waiting for you to open it. Sitting up, I laughed. Why are you all waiting for me to open my present?
'Cause everybody knows you always get the flyest shit,
Portia said.
Meanwhile, I get Mickey Mouse watching some Barbie dolls or something disgusting like that.
Portia said bitterly. Later that afternoon, I discreetly placed my Gucci overnight bag in the trunk of the Benz. By early evening, I was all dressed up in my birthday outfit. My mother looked at my body filling out the black satin dress. Instead of complimenting me, she cried. I thought to myself, damn, all she does lately is cry. But tonight was my night. I pulled out of the driveway cautiously, trying to keep my mother's confidence and my driver's skills secure. I was sure she was looking through the window. When I was out of sight, I ripped down the road headed for the highway. Santiago said no Brooklyn, and I will respect that. Natalie, Slick Kid, and Bullet were going to meet me at the 42nd Street bus terminal in Manhattan. They had no idea I would be pushing a Benz. The best part of my birthday was going to be flashing around it. I might even tell them Santiago bought the Benz from me for my birthday. On the way down, I pulled into one of those all-service Amoco stations. I popped the trunk, grabbed my bag, jetted into the bathroom, and took off that ridiculous satin dress. My real outfit was red leather shorts that fit like a miniskirt, a red leather vest that accentuated my titties and fit tight around my waistline, There was no use for a blouse. I threw my stockings into the wastebasket. My legs were shapely, big, and beautiful. There was no sense of hiding them. I had no scars or bruises. So what if it was cold? I wasn't walking. I was toasty in the red bins. I threw in my diamond necklace and my diamond tennis bracelet. My soft red leather jacket made it all perfect. With a piece of tissue, I wiped the foggy gas station mirror. I could only clean a small section. The mirror was permanently dirty. I drew in my lipstick, checked my hair, and slipped my feet into my red leather Gucci shoes. I was good to go. Tonight was not for the big-headed lawyer boys or engineers. Tonight was the night for raw, Brooklyn-style, fun and live niggas. In the trunk, I carefully stretched the black satin dress on top of the case so it wouldn't wrinkle. In the car, I pumped up the radio to stay alert during the long drives. I kept the car windows closed. I would creep up on the corner of 42nd and 8th, slowly lowering the window. Then I would shout, "Surprise, motherfuckers, get in." The scene played over and over in my head. The thought of the jealousy Natalie would feel thrilled me. I knew she would get over it quickly, though. That was my girl. She would be happy to ride shotgun in my whip. On the radio, suddenly Sister Soldier started talking shit, her coarse voice overpowering the music.
The number one group of people dying from AIDS is young black women.
I popped in a tape to shut her up before she started getting on my damn nerves. I slowed the car to a creeping speed. Natalie, Slick Kid, and Bullet were chilling on the corner. Bullet was looking good. I could see his gold teeth shining. That shit got me hot. A mouthful of gold is sexy like a motherfucker. It just adds to the ruggedness, accentuating the attitude. Natalie was right. Natalie had on an outfit I saw in Banana Republic the other day. Slick Kid turned around and caught sight of my Benz. He didn't know it was me, but the car was so hot I had his full attention. His eyes popped out and he started checking the vehicle, sweating my rims, stepping up close. Natalie and Bullet followed. When they got up close to the glass, I lowered the window and said real sexy style, "Y'all waiting for me?" Natalie screams,
No, you didn't. Oh, bitch. No, you didn't. I know this ain't your car. Don't even try it. What?
Bullet and Slick Kid immediately grabbed the guy on the street who shoots Polaroid pictures and flipped him a 20 spot. They started posing on the hood, leaning against the car. I jumped out and we all posed together. Bullet licked his lips, put his arm around my waist as he said,
Let me look at you.
He opened his arms and stepped back. I swung my ass around slowly.
Big pretty legs.
He said, talking sexually, like we were doing it already. He touched my legs with his finger, smiled, and said,
No stockings. Nice.
Hold on. Where we going? To the club on... Nah, fuck that. Let's go to a quiet spot. I don't want to have to bust nobody's ass tonight for trying to get mines. I'd rather chill with Winter. Let's shoot to the Marriott on 44th and Broadway.
Bullet said. Right before we got there, Slick Kid jumped out of the car and picked up some Alizé and Absolute from the liquor store. Slick went into the hotel with Natalie to check in. Me and Bullet sat in the car waiting.
I ain't seen you in about a year or so.
He said, looking into my eyes. Yeah, that's about right. I was playing shy.
Where the hell you been?
She doing my business, just like you, nigga. You never said nothing to me when I lived around the way.
Nigga likes his life.
He said, referring to Santiago. Then why are you here? I asked sharply.
Time changed. Got a little weight on my arm. Don't try to play with me. You wasn't taken from me either.
Whatever. There's no sense in wasting time, I said. 'Cause time I don't have a lot of. You look good to me. I hope I look good to you. I ain't had it in a long time, and I'm ready to bring it together. I was looking him dead in the eye, letting him know I was serious. He leaned over and stuck his tongue in my mouth. He had a strong kiss. For a moment, my head was gone. It seemed like I blacked out. I was kissing him with all the passion locked up inside of me. It didn't really matter who he was. He was a warm body, a masculine body. He could get to feel all of me tonight because I needed it. Natalie was knocking on the window and trying to see in at the same time.
Room 609, y'all. Come on up when you're ready. Glad to see we're getting along. We're in 610.
She snickered and handed me the key. Natalie headed back into the hotel. We pulled the car around to the valet and headed on up. Bullet poured me a drink of Alizé mixed with Absolute. I sipped on it and felt relaxed. Take your shirt off, I ordered. Let me look at you. He grinned.
Oh, that's how you do it, huh? You like to be the boss.
He pulled his shirt off. On his shoulder was a tattoo of a gun dispensing a bullet. The heat in me went up a notch. He walked over to turn the lights off. Oh no, I said. I want to see everything. Turn them all on. We ain't got a damn thing to hide. I took off my jacket, I started to unbutton my vest, switched it off, and stood in front of him with my young 34D standing upright with extended nipples. I didn't have to say shit. He was all over me in an instant. Do what you feel, I said. I stepped into him and began licking his neck. He didn't taste salty, and I liked that too. A clean body. I slid out my shorts. They dropped to the floor. I began to undo his buckle and went for his zipper. When his pants fell to the floor, his big penis stuck out of his boxers. I jumped to him, wrapped my legs around his waist, and removed his shorts with my feet. Everything was physical the way I liked it. Watching his leg muscles go up and down, watching his ass move got me excited. I rode that dick like a professional jockey. All the energy in my body started running wild and high. Then moved to the center and released. My body shook, then relaxed. I slid down his body onto the floor.
Oh, no, you don't. Not until I get mines.
He mounted me on the floor doggy style and started giving it to me from the back. The chorus of his grunts and my moans turned me on. It was just a little freaky thing about me. The more I turned the nigga on, the more excited he got, the more excited and wild I became. 2 orgasms does the body good. We ended up in the jacuzzi with Marriott bubble bath bubbles foaming up everywhere. We had our drinks, puffed our weed, and we was cool with the silence. Then, loudmouth Natalie came busting in the room through the connecting door with Slick Kid.
Where y'all at?
Natalie yelled. Slick Kid laughed.
Baby, just follow your nose.
Next thing I knew, Slick Kid was in the bathroom where we were, with his sharp VL video camera rolling. He was cracking up and filming me and Bullet's cool-out session in the tub.
Wait a minute. Let me get in it too. You don't mind winter, do you?
She pulled off her shirt and pants and hopped into the jacuzzi with me and Bullet. Slick was laughing and taping us, talking about, Bullet, you a big Willie. Now you got 2 girls. Bullet positioned himself between me and Nat to pose for the camera.
Where in the movies, y'all? Wanna do any shout-outs?
Oh, yeah, I said, liquor talking. I want to give a shout out to Simone, to Zakia, Asia, my girl Tashi, and all the live motherfuckers in Brooklyn. BK to the fullest. I love all my peeps. Stay live, y'all. Slick Kid wanted to get in the movies, so he started filming himself with the camera.
Attention, niggas, this is Slick Kid. I just wanted to say the black man is God.
Bullet cheered him on and added in his shout-outs. We all laughed, drank, and puffed. We played cards, ordered movies and room service, buffalo wings, french fries, and lemonade. We had a good old Brooklyn-style good time. At 2:30 a.m., I told them I had to roll. Bullet wanted me to stay, but I told him I had to take care of some important shit, and I'd pick it up with him later.
What about breakfast? Time to make the donuts.
Slick Kid, yo. They decided to stay in the room till checkout since they paid for it. By this time, Bullet confirmed that he still lived with his grandmother and he didn't have no ride home. I told him don't worry about it. I'd come pick him up sometime in the benzo, and as long as he kept it real with me, we could do it again. My buzz was wearing off. That was a good thing, because I was driving in the light rain of the late night, early morning. Organized my story about the college party. I had never been to one in my life. As far as I knew, Santiago hadn't either. Still, I rehearsed it, knowing how clever Santiago was. When I pulled up into the driveway, Santiago's Lex was not there. I was surprised, since I was an hour and a half late, and 100% sure he'd be sitting in the kitchen with a mean old screw face ready to drill me. Luckily, I realized I was still wearing the red leather shorts. Panicked, I swung the car around the back. I popped the trunk open, grabbed my Gucci suitcase, and unzipped it. I pulled out a fresh pair of stockings and picked up the satin dress. I was quiet about closing the trunk so as not to wake Mommy. I ran under the shed in the back of the house and started to peel off my little red outfit. My body was covered with goosebumps and shivering in the cold 4:30 a.m. air. When I took off my Gucci shoes, I realized I had left my Jonah Davis in the car. I clutched my car keys, tweaked the alarm off, and tipped back to the trunk. I struck the key in and swapped the shoes. By the time I got back under the shed, my feet were covered in mud. I took off my panties and used them as tissue to clean my feet. When I went to slip into my new stockings, I pushed too hard and my big toe ripped through the bottom. The tear ran all the way up my leg. I took a deep breath to calm down. People who panic made stupid mistakes, overlook critical things, I reminded myself. Okay, so I put on my dress, no stockings, and I say that they tore at the party. I started fumbling to put my hair back into place when I heard a noise from the side of the house. It sounded like cracking sticks under somebody's foot. I kicked my mud-covered panties under the bush and stuffed my little red outfit into a nearby garbage can.
Come out of there, whoever you are, before I blow your fucking head off.
The voice came from the side of the house. It sounded like my mother. I was trembling. Mommy, I called out. Is that you?
Winter, are you okay?
She asked as though somebody had me bound and gagged. I'm fine, Mommy. I was just parking the car back here. She swayed around the corner with her flashlight and the little .22 gun Santiago had given her for personal security. The light. Take the light out of my face, Mommy, please, I said, not wanting her to see my panties in the bush. Everything's okay. I went toward her, hugged her, and walked her back around to the front of the house. What happened to the lights in the backyard? I asked.
They broke 'em. They broke everything. Messed up all our stuff. They took the Lex. They took Santiago. They tore up the house.
Her words were going into my head in slow motion. My body froze like ice. Anger consumed me. Who took Santiago?
The police. They came in with papers talking about they charging him with this and that and the other thing. They searched through all of our belongings. They cut up my damn mattress. They scared the shit out of your sisters. They was crying and screaming.
Where did they take him?
Central booking, the regular. They said they don't know where he'll end up. Just call the precinct, they said. He won't be arraigned until Monday, since this is a weekend night.
When did they come?
Santiago got back right after you left here. He said he had a feeling that something wasn't right. I'm surprised you didn't see him on the way out. The cops pulled up about a half an hour later. Big Long Island white boy. By the book cops. They came from everywhere without warning. Up the driveway, out of the sky, the roof, the backyard. Before I knew it, they were inside the house, outside the house, all and everything like roaches. They arrested everybody. Santiago, our security, everybody except me and the kids. I didn't know how to get to you, Winter. Eventually, I beat midnight. It was about 10 p.m. I told him what happened and asked him to go out to that school to tell you to come back home. He called me back around 11:45 talking about you wasn't there. He looked all over.
My guilty eyes locked into my mother. Her eyes were bloodshot, her mouth twisted, her face stained with tears. We needed a strategy to get out of this confusion. What did Santiago say?
He was calm, cool. Of course, they had his hands cuffed, locked tight in back of his body like he was some kind of criminal. He looked me dead in my eyes. All he said was sorry.
Mommy was hysterical or delirious or both.
I told Santiago not to worry. I will come and get him out. Then one of them smart-ass cops, not the one in the regular uniform, one of them feds or something, said it would be a long, long time before you'll see him anywhere besides behind bars. That's what you think? I told them bastards. That's what you think? The next cop picked up your picture and was like, woo-wee, that's a fine ass. That's when Santiago started breaking. He said he would make it so that cop would never see his own kids again. The other cop started reading Santiago his rights.
Mommy, how many cops were there? Inside or outside the house?
About 15 cops inside and 20 outside. In the back, everywhere.
I sat down on the kitchen stool. Daylight seemed to rush in. I made my mother take one of those sedatives the doctors prescribed for her facial pain. She had fallen asleep along with the kids. At 9 a.m., Magdalena arrived to work.
What happened?
She asked with her Latino accent. Long story, I muttered. Take your time cleaning this mess. We gotta straighten it up, but it's no hurry. She had a look on her face as if she expected to be paid more money to repair the disaster. Don't worry, I'll take care of it at the end of the week, I told her. Money, I thought. Santiago's gone. How will we get money? The upstairs safe popped into my head. The one situated behind my mother's clothing closet that I wasn't supposed to know about. I ran upstairs, pushed open my mother's door gently, not wanting to disturb her. She was there, sitting on her bed, smoking a cigarette, something I never saw her do.
Looking for the safe? It's gone. It's empty. It's gone.
She pointed to the closet where the safe door was open and empty.
Them bastards had warrants, papers, a whole bunch of shits. They said they've been watching us for a long time.
Other than the money, did they take anything else?
Other than the money. Okay. Other than the $150,000 they stole from our safe, for evidence, they said. Ha, evidence. They're probably out shopping with that dough right now. They took the guns. They took plenty of guns.
Coke? I asked cautiously.
None. Santiago had just come back from his runs. Everything he had was already gone.
How much money you got? I was afraid to hear the answer.
$700. That's it.
She said dryly. I had $950 myself. That made a total of $1,650, which, based on what we were used to spending, might as well have been $17. Who could we call? My mind went blank. I sat on the floor in her room, and my nerves numb neutral. I had no feeling. The ringing of our telephone brought me back to reality. I picked it up. It was my mother's sister, Aunt Lori, on the line.
Where's Santiago?
She demanded. Not having thought of what I would tell people and when to tell them whatever I decided to tell them, I said nothing.
Winter, stop playing. Put Santiago on the phone. These motherfuckers came and picked Stevie up out of here this morning, and I need Santiago to send somebody over here to see what's happening and to bring some money so we can get him out.
Santiago's not here right now, Aunt Lori. Call back in a little while. Mommy don't feel well. Or I'll call you back. Sorry about what happened. I'll give Santiago the message.
Winter, these motherfuckers went crazy out here. Arrested everybody. Tell your father somebody's gotta come help us out down here.
By sundown, it was apparent it was a total wipeout. One by one, women's voices filled with rage, fear, and hysteria called demanding that Santiago rescued their husbands, brothers, and sons. They had all been bagged. I contacted Santiago's lawyer, Bob Goldstein. He was already on the case. He told me that right now there was nothing he could do but wait. He had phoned the precinct and verified Santiago's presence. Now he awaited arraignment and placement. He was seeing what the bail looked like, what all the charges were, and what the evidence was like. He told me to come down to the office on Friday to handle matters and to bring my mother. Magdalena did a hell of a job bringing the house back together again. I split her a 50 spot for the extra work. It killed me to let go of the cash, but I did it just to keep the peace with her. I need her to watch the kids. Magdalena grabbed the money real quick and held on to it real tight. Chapter 6. Monday morning, we all was up early and dressed. There was no doubt we would support Santiago at his arraignment. We would show those motherfuckers that family sticks together. My mother put the girls in the back of her car and took the passenger seat. As I started to back the Benz up, I saw flashing lights moving up our driveway. A cop on the loudspeaker said,
Turn off the ignition.
I weighed my options. I wanted to floor the gas pedal, ram the police, then pull out to handle my business. But my little sister's in the car, so I turned the ignition off.
Get out of the car. Everyone, step out of the car. Move away from the car.
The police signaled the vehicle behind him. It was a police department tow truck. The officer pulled up to my mother and handed her a piece of paper.
We are authorized to remove this vehicle, which is now government property.
Motherfuckers. This is my car. How the hell you gonna come and take my car?
Angry tears shot out of my mother's eyes. You don't have a right to come and take people's shit. I went buck wild cursing them assholes out. I pushed the car door open, jumped out, and started swinging my fist in the air.
Ma'am, calm down. Ma'am, now listen. Here's how it works. We're going to take the car right now, right here, today, this minute. We're authorized to do so. You go downtown. If you can verify the source of your income and prove that you personally purchased the vehicle, then you can get it back. All merchandise purchased with illegal monies by criminal activity are subject to seizure.
Mama thumbed hysterically through the yellow pages, trying to locate a cab that would come around our way. It took an hour to strike a deal with a somewhat local cabbie to drive us into the city. I paid $100 to get into the city. Money was going fast. By the time we got to the court, we had missed Santiago. I called the lawyer's office. His secretary said the lawyer must be on his way back to the office because he was there at the court to represent Santiago earlier that day. I hung up the phone without verbally acknowledging her words. It took damn near all day just to get back to our house on public transportation. Then we had to walk 3 miles to get from the train station to our safety house. Tears didn't have no place in the situation. What would Santiago do, I asked myself. He would think, plan, and not panic. Alright, it seemed to me that we needed to have one big sale to get rid of all our shit in the house and get some money. I never liked it anyway. We could move back into the city, get an apartment or something. I started pacing around my room, randomly pricing things in my head. Who would we sell their stuff to? We didn't know anyone around here. We would straight up have to put an ad in the papers, hang up garage sale signs and directions to our house. Let these people come pick over it and pay way less than they would normally pay in the store. I found Mama in her room. She had busted open a new pack of cigarettes and was going at it. What do you think about a sale? I asked her. We sell all this stuff in the house to generate some cash flow.
I want to talk to your father.
Seriously, Mama, what do you say?
I want to see what your father says. Whatever he wants to do, that's what I'll do.
But Mama, we gotta make plans like Santiago ain't here, 'cause he's not.
You trying to say he ain't coming back?
She acts like a crazy woman. No, I'm trying to say, maybe if we put our heads together, we could have some ideas ready for Santiago. We can go see him tomorrow. I'll know by the morning exactly where he is. The idea of seeing Santiago delighted Mommy, who was starting to seem like an imposter to me. At 9 o'clock the next morning, I was on the phone trying to locate Santiago. I slid Magdalena an extra $20 and told her to babysit while me and Mommy took care of some business. She looked like she thought about rolling her eyes at me. She put the extra money in her pocket. We found out which jail Santiago was being held at. Then we went to find out the cost of bail so we could pull the money together somehow. The court clerk smirked when he punched in the case numbers for Santiago on his computer. With some strange look of pleasure, he pronounced,
"The judge has denied bail because of the extremity of his charges. He'll be sent to Rikers Thursday. You can visit him there."
My mother's face saddened with disappointment. As we turned to walk away, her tears started flowing. When we got home, Magdalena complained about the phone ringing. We thanked her for her patience and sent her home for the evening. The good thing was that in 2 days, we will be able to talk to Santiago. He would help us decide how to move. My mind was still trying to put things together. I asked my mother whose name the house is in and if it was a monthly cost or if it was paid in full. She told me it was paid for because that's how Santiago does things, but she never saw the paperwork because it wasn't her concern. This time, when I picked up the telephone, it was Natalie.
Girl, what's going on? It's like a ghost town over here in BK.
Everybody's getting locked up, I thought to myself. Who ever heard of a person who starts talking before she even says hello? Before she's even sure if she's talking to the right person? Who got knocked? I asked, playing it off. She rattled off a list of familiar names, Daddy's workers, bodyguards, and all of my uncles. Then she said,
I heard Midnight got picked up earlier tonight.
"Get the fuck out of here," I said, almost mumbling.
Yup. Asia saw the cops cuffing him over in front of Mo's bar. Yeah, Bullet told me about Midnight, too.
I wondered if Natalie had heard about Santiago and was just waiting for me to say something. "How's Bullet doing?" I asked.
He's all right. His girl just had a baby. It's a boy, 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Big, huh?
His girl? Natalie, you didn't tell me he had a girl.
Like you would have cared. Don't try to get new on me, Winter.
That's not the point. I'm just saying you're supposed to have my back. You're supposed to let me know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm supposed to fill you in like you be filling me in. Right.
Natalie said, getting loud with me. I didn't have time for Natalie's attention games, so I told her I had to go. "The policia," Magdalena said, peeping her head into my room without knocking on my bedroom door.
Your mother is in the shower.
I jumped up, threw on some pants and a shirt, and headed downstairs.
"Good morning, ma'am. We'd like to speak to Mrs. Santiago, please. We want to ask her some questions."
I put my hands on my hips and asked if they had a warrant. As soon as they said no, I got ready to say, "Mama's not home." Then Mama came out of nowhere wrapped in a towel. Her hair was wet, her eyes wild, and her mouth twisted.
What is it now?
"We want to ask you some questions."
Do you have a warrant?
"No, ma'am."
And get the fuck out of my house. I've had enough of you all for 1 week.
"Ma'am, we just want to ask you some questions about your husband. Under the RICO laws, you could also be charged if you were aware of or in any way connected to the distribution of narcotics. We would like you to cooperate with us. It will be better for you."
Get the fuck out. Do you see a lawyer in here? How are you going to ask me any questions without my lawyer present? Do I look like a fool to you?
"You're right. You're entitled to have a lawyer present. But you know we can easily get a warrant under these circumstances, ma'am. Or you could just cooperate."
Winter, close the damn door.
Mama was renewed on Thursday morning. She picked out her best outfit and was gonna take Santiago by storm at Rikers Island. She asked me to help her with her makeup. I tried to make the best out of the situation and put it on as nicely as I could. I brushed her hair back and used the same wig that worked for her the day we went shopping. Mama pulled out her perfume, the expensive shit that was thick like syrup. She dabbed it on in a small amount. When you have the good stuff, she once said, you don't have to pile it on. She looked fine, at least compared to the last few days when she let herself go in ways I had never seen. She handed me the Visine. I dropped 2 drops in each of her eyes. I reminded her to take off her heels, put them in her pocketbook, and wear flat shoes since we had to walk to the bus stop. She protested.
We should take a cab to Rikers.
We should really save our money, 'cause we're running low, I warned.
We'll save it some other day. Today we're going to see Santiago.
Yes, we have a warrant and we're gonna run you down for questioning.
Announced the same cops from yesterday. They arrived when me and Mama were leaving. As we opened the door to go see Daddy, we were confronted by the 2 cops.
Am I under arrest?
My mother asked sarcastically.
If that's what we need to have a civil conversation with you.
Mama handed me her pocketbooks. Unwilling to cooperate with the police, she stuck on her wrist as if to say, take me. The police read Mama her rights, cuffed her, and put her in the car. Magdalena and the girls watched in horror from the kitchen. I stood there shocked and watched them take my mother away. On the way out, the smart-ass cop's partner paused, turned around and hollered to me standing in the doorway.
By the way, how old are you?
17. And where are you taking my mother? My sister Portia blurted out.
How about you, little girl? How old are you?
8, she said, snotty and proud. Their lights flashed as they sped away. I took the 20, handed it to Magdalena, collected my things, and made fast tracks in my Nikes headed to the bus stop. Santiago walked into the room accompanied by a corrections officer. His body was tight, his face serious. He still maintained his powerful presence. He had a way of looking good, even in those gel greens that hung on him like a leisure suit. I smiled when I saw him. He smiled back.
Where's your mother? Downstairs?
He said, no, she wasn't feeling good. She had to take 2 of those pills, and they knocked her out cold. You know, only something that dramatic would keep her away. I had practiced this answer the whole trip to Rikers. No sense in adding to Santiago's problems.
And my girls?
They're fine. You know they miss you and all, but they're toughs. They'll do all right.
Maybe. Portia has 7 years in the projects under her belt. She's tough. Mercedes and Lexi, now they've been sheltered. They're straight up suburban kids.
I laughed, but wanted to hurry you on to the business. Daddy, tomorrow I'm going to go see your lawyer. I'm going to find out everything. What do you need me to tell him?
I've been talking to him on the phone every chance I get. He'll want to talk money. He don't have to worry about that, though. I got money.
Daddy, they raided the safe at the house. They took 150 grand. He held his hand up to keep me from talking.
Just get a hold of Midnight. He got $50 of mine.
I was sure that this was code for $50,000. Daddy, someone said Midnight got picked up too. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I heard. Daddy's eyebrows knitted together as if Midnight's arrest was somehow not what he had planned for. After a short pause, he said,
He'll be out soon. They got nothing on him. He's clean. I kept him that way. Just chill and wait for him. He'll come through. He always does. Meanwhile, tell Goldstein I said, use the key. That'll be a deposit on his fee.
Daddy, Uncle Steve got picked up. And Harry, Vaughn, and Ron.
I know. I seen all of them. Rodriguez, Pizzazz, they all in here. It's like being at home.
He smiled. I'm sure more for my benefit than anything.
They trying to shake my niggas up, scare somebody until they sing. You know what I mean. I'm all right, Winter. Don't worry about me. It's just Mama you gotta look after. After that bullet, she's delicate. You don't know it, but she is.
About the house, Santiago. I think we should sell it, so we'll have some money flow.
I like your mind. Tell Goldstein. Tell him I said sell it. Winter, you gotta be tough. It's time. Remember everything I taught you. Keep your ears open. Follow the directions I gave you to the letter. And just play your hand close to your chest.
We said that last line together. I had heard it so many times. I had never really thought about how important it was, but it was sinking in now.
Tell your mother I want to see her 1 week from today on Thursday. Tell her I said pull herself together and get down here on Thursday in her best shit so I can show her off.
Magdalena had her stuff packed, and at the door when I reached home, her face was serious and fed up. What's up?
That's it. Finished.
She rubbed her hands together. What's it? You want more money? I'll give you more money. I was gonna pay you on Friday. That's tomorrow. Payday. Hell, I tipped you every day this week.
It's not the money, Miss Winter. But I do need my pay for up until today.
Magdalena, I pleaded. Come on, girl. You know I need you. My father's gone. My mother's gone. It's just me and the kids. If you leave, I won't have nobody to help me with the kids. Magdalena busted out crying.
There is no kids.
Her words hit me one by one, each word in slow motion. No kids. I lost my composure. The tears burst out. No kids? What the fuck do you mean, no kids, Magdalena? I grabbed her, shaking her shoulders uncontrollably. Where are my sisters? What the fuck do you mean, no kids? Huh? Huh?
The BCW people came and said they were sent by the police. They said they had to take the kids because there was no adult in the house.
What are you talking about, Magdalena? You're an adult.
But Miss Winter, I had to tell them I'm no responsible. I have to leave at 7 p.m. this evening. They had the papers from the government. They took them. I'm sorry.
She cried. Then the horn honked. The signal from her son, who picked her up every night in that raggedy 1970-something car. As she held out her hand to be paid, I yelled, "You bitch, you couldn't cover for me? You couldn't just cover for me." My voice echoed in the middle of the huge empty house. "I ain't giving you shit," I screamed, throwing a vase at her as she rushed for the door. Every step I took around the house sounded like it was magnified by a microphone. I could hear my own heart beating in my chest and in my ears. I started hearing shit I never heard before, noises and heating systems and water dripping. I was stranded without a ride, without a family member. I was out in the fucking woods. Just then, Sterling, my old sugar daddy, became the most important person in the world. I ran upstairs, pulled my droid box out, looked for his number and called him. I had to calm down fast. The worst thing I could do was make Sterling think I needed him. Then he would try to turn the tables. "Sterling, this is me, Winter. It's funny how you just came to mind. I was sitting here by the fire with my panties on, and I thought, damn, I miss Sterling. Do you think you want to see me? 'Cause I definitely want to see you."
Winter, I have company right now.
He said apologetically. I cleared my throat to bring the strength back into my voice. "Who's there with you?" He answered with silence. "Is she better than me, Sterling? You know how good I can make you feel. And I'm really needing you tonight. Right now."
Okay, give me a couple of hours. I'll pick you up at 11.
I packed my overnight bag. My money was running low, so I dropped my diamond bracelet, earrings, and necklace in my bag too. If I needed, that was as good as money to me. I ran around the house, turning on all the TVs, lights, the radio, trying to convince myself I wasn't alone until my ride came. If I fucked Sterling that night, I didn't know it. It didn't matter. My mom was on vacation. Apparently, Sterling was so stupid that just my sweet face was enough to make him do whatever I wanted. The next day, I convinced him to let me drop him off at work and use his car. I promised to pick him up later that night. The idea of him seeing me 2 nights in a row was enough bait for him. I putt-putted in his little car back to the house on Long Island, hoping that my mother would be released and I could meet up with her. At some point, she'd figure out she had to cooperate, even if all she said was, "I don't know, I don't know, I don't know." Then they would release her. Hell, she was completely innocent. I hated to think of her in jail, especially with her being so fragile. Since when does spending your husband's money become a crime? If there were, more than half of all the women in the country would be locked down. If she wasn't at the house by the time I got there, I'd swing by the precinct. The way I figured, they just have to shake her up. The way I figured, they just try to shake her up. Try to get her to give evidence against Santiago, which she would never do. I'd pick up my mom's, then we would track down the girls. The driveway to the house was blocked off. It wasn't a regular police car, you know, the kind with a siren. It was one of them, like the DT drives, undercover. I pulled to the side of the road. I climbed the winding driveway leading up to our home. "Excuse me, officer. This is my house."
This house and all the belongings inside are now the property of the federal government. No one is allowed on the property unless he is an agent of the federal government,
he said with authority and a puffed out chest. "Explain this to me," I said carefully. "How is it that you can take people's property, steal their house, and not even allow a woman to get her clothes out or her baby sister's bottles?" I was going for sympathy. I had no wins running up against the Glock. I wanted to spit in his face, but for now, it wouldn't be smart. The only thing I could do now was go straight to Santiago's lawyer. Otherwise, all these cocksuckers would give me this official talk and send me away empty-handed. I would get the lawyer involved and my mother to have as well. As the car maxed out at 60 miles per hour, my mom calculated the value of everything in my bedroom. Jewelry, clothes, shoes, electronics, TV, etc. Hats off to the motherfucking police, I thought to myself. They had the best hustle in town. They were the real criminals. Goldstein's office was plush. The chairs were buttery leather, the walls walnut. The windows looked out onto the outlines of the city. I wasn't surprised. It was my father's style to be affiliated with the big-timers. I sat in the big chair. It was reserved for clients and positioned directly in front of the attorney's chair. I kept thinking that this chair was the hot seat. It got you all impressed. Then, just as you started to feel all comfortable, the lawyer would demand a minimum of 10 grand just to peek at your case.
"So you are Santiago's daughter. Beautiful, beautiful. Where is your mother? I thought I told you to bring your mother."
He smiled like a gentleman. "She's locked up." His left eyebrow raised. He reached on his desk and grabbed one of those legal pads and listened to my whole story. He didn't interrupt me once. Only the lines on his forehead answered. Every now and then he scribbled on the pad.
"Well now, you got about 5 different matters here. Your father, that's 1. Your mother, that's 2. Your sisters, that's 3. You want me to look into the matter of the house, that's 4. The cars, that's 5. It's going to take a lot of manpower to get this job done."
I could feel him setting me up for the kill, fattening me up like a pig before the slaughter. He just wanted the bacon.
"Right. Santiago says, use the key."
He repeated my message from Santiago to himself. Then he muttered something like power of attorney. He found the paper he was looking for in the file. He smiled, told me he'd get to work on all these matters. He would use the key and let me know what else was needed. He asked for my phone number and address. "Haven't you been listening? I have no address. I'll be drifting. I'll call you."
"By the way,"
he said as I was stepping out of the door.
"how old are you?"
17. Why?
Because my best bet is that the Bureau of Child Welfare will be looking to pick you up as well.
I can take care of myself.
Yes, but according to the law, the state is your temporary guardian until you turn 18 years old. You are a minor. Not to worry, we'll just need to get a hold of your mother to get around this mess. My office will be the meeting point. When I get your mother, I'll bring her here, or at least you can check in periodically with one of my secretaries, and they will be able to tell you where to meet her.
Chapter 7. Between the money that I took out of my mother's pocketbook, plus my own cash, I had a total of $1,480. A diamond necklace, a diamond bracelet, diamond earrings, and the clothes on my back. If there hadn't been a flashing pink sign that read diner when I walked out of Goldstein's office, I wouldn't have remembered to eat. I had been 3 days without thinking about food. I had a chance to eat, but I kept trying to get my mind to think of answers to all these situations. Soon as something clicked into place, something else popped out of order. Making a plan was complicated. When would my moms get out? What fee would the lawyer charge? I couldn't come up with a good plan because I couldn't relax. I was cool on the outside, but inside I was in a state of panic. Normally, I'd be plotting on a party. Now I was plotting on survival, something Santiago always took care of for me. If nothing else was clear, the fact that I had to take care of myself was. The girls were little and cute. Somebody would give them some shit for the time being. I, on the other hand, would have to get mines myself. I wasn't sure if I could go back to Brooklyn yet either. I tried not to get paranoid and start thinking there was a hit out on me or something crazy. Out of respect for Santiago and moms, I decided to wait. Besides, Brooklyn represented too many unanswered questions for now. Aunt Lori would be vexed because we never called her back about Uncle Stevie. By now, she would have found out Santiago got knocked too. Everybody would be expecting our family to roll out the dough, bankroll everybody's situation like normal. We were no longer in the position to get down like that, because money had to go toward our own problems, especially Santiago's case. I wasn't about to put myself in a position of having to borrow shit from them either. I could see them trying to flip attitude on me, something lovely. Bowing down was not something I do. I knew I could always chill in Natalie's. Her moms wouldn't give a damn and probably wouldn't even know I was there. But the shit Natalie pulled bullet had me looking at her like she couldn't be trusted. Realistically, Natalie was a lifeline. She had information. What I could do, I decided, was play her. Get to know what I needed to know. Tell her as little as possible, and even throw her a curveball now and then. I definitely wasn't going to give her the pleasure of feeling like now me and her was on the same level. I would focus on the Lucci, the cash, the loot, and just how I was going to make it. I picked over my cheeseburger deluxe for an hour and a half before I came up with a plan. The impatient waitress tried to clear me out of the diner by exhaling real loud like I was taking up too much space for the amount of money I was spending. The key to getting back on top was Midnight. He had the $50,000 Santiago told me about. Even though it was Santiago's money, and I didn't know how much it would have to go toward legal fees, there would be no harm in me getting my hands on the dough. I was not in jail, so I might as well be useful. The smart thing to do would be to flip the cash, invest it and double it at least. Then I could deliver the 50 grand to the lawyer and have a nice piece of change to set myself up as well. I would use Sterling for as long as possible, at least until I got answers to the big questions about my mom, pops, and sisters. I couldn't see him minding. He'd stare at me with those big dumb eyes and be happy I had finally seen the light. Whatever chick he had there before I came last night, she'd just have to wait. Eventually, she could have the man, I just wanted the pockets, the apartment, and access to his little putt-putt to handle my business. Goldstein located Mom swiftly. He told me she was being charged with resisting arrest, insulting, and assaulting a police officer. From his estimation, those charges were just a means for them to hold her for questions about Santiago and his operation. He put in his notification of representation. The court was backed up, and she wouldn't be arraigned until Monday morning. He said this was a good thing because he needed time to get Santiago's safety deposit box at the bank to see the status of things so he could settle the financial matters. He told me he was 98% sure he could get the prosecutor to lessen the charges on Mom, drop them completely, or at minimum, get her out on her own recognizance since she had no previous charges. This way, she wouldn't have to pose a bail. She'd just have to show up at the court date. He sternly told me to call him around 3 o'clock Monday. Things were out of my hands. I had 2 hours before I had to pick up Sterling, so I went shopping. Nothing expensive. The Gap, Banana Republic, basic shit to get me through the weekend and the following week. $300 was the budget I gave myself. Why waste words on Sterling? Know that he was quick to dump the female friend he had over the other night. He was glad I decided to stay with him for the 2 weeks. My parents are out of town. He said he couldn't blame me for not wanting to stay in that big house alone and that he was happy I chose to spend my spare time with him. Early Monday morning, Mama was released. She had on the same clothes she went in with. Overall, she looked busted. Wig off, hair in a bad need of Earlene's, mouth permanently twisted, I guess. She went off about the feds, seizing her leathers, furs, suedes, jewels, furniture, and house. She was enraged by the loss of her record collection, which she had carefully acquired over the past 17 years.
Whoever heard of the legalized robbery they orchestrated? And whoever thinks they can steal my babies got to be crazy, 'cause I'm going to get them back first thing tomorrow when the Bureau of Child Welfare office opens and Magdalena needs her ass kicked. She should have known better than to let some woman in the house who was not in our family. And let me see a motherfucker driving around in my red Benz, sporting my wares. They'll get their ass carjacked right on the spot.
Where are you going to live? I asked Mama. She started laughing like the penguin on Batman.
Don't worry about me. What else can they do to me? They already shot me in the face. What they gonna do next?
Are you going to stay with Aunt Lori? She's going to be pissed about Stevie and money and everything, I warned. She waved her hand in the air as if to say, none of that mattered.
After all I did for her, Santiago gave that worthless husband of hers a job when nobody else would. She better recognize. She just better make room for me, treat me like the queen I am, and just help out till Santiago gets home. He'll straighten all of this out.
Speaking Santiago's name put her in another frame of mind. I saw her eyes switch, and her voice did too. I saw Santiago, I said. He's all right. He asked about you, of course. He wants you to come down and see him on Thursday. Dress your best, he said. He wants to show you off. Mama cried. The twins were divided.
We don't like to do it, but all of our facilities are overburdened. We had a space for Mercedes Santiago in Manhattan. The other one, Lexi, is in Brooklyn. Portia Santiago is in Queens. There will be no problems getting them ready for release, but we have to release them to a stable environment. As it stands, Miss Santiago, you are still under criminal investigation. You have no residence. The address you're listing here, your sister's apartment, is a Section 8 residency. This means it must meet federal regulations for living arrangements. Your sister already has 3 children in the apartment. There are only 3 bedrooms. Therefore, it will be a violation of federal codes for us to release 3 more children into this apartment, or even 1 for that matter. Your sister has 1 daughter and 2 sons. Under federal regulations, a male and female cannot share a bedroom together after they reach 10 years old. You stated your sister's sons are 12 and 15. We just can't do it. Do you have a relative who can speak up for the children? Who has extra rooms in a non-rent subsidy, federally regulated housing?
All of our peeps went in projects, so that question didn't deserve an answer.
Look, miss, I just want my children. Now, I'm good for raising hell, but I'm trying to be nice, work with you here. I've been through a lot. I'm innocent. I'm not perfect, but I just need to have my babies with me. I'm not a drug addict, crackhead, or a criminal. I just need to have my girls back today.
You're presently unemployed. The only option we can offer is the Emergency Assistance Program. We can put you and your children up in a family shelter with a kitchenette so you can cook your own meals. We would allocate your food stamps and medical coverage for your children, but there's a waiting list for these types of facilities. There's no way we could release the children to you with no income and no apartment. To be honest with you, Miss Santiago, there are also some more problems with this case. The girls are 5 years old, but they're not registered in kindergarten. Why? Did they attend private schooling?
No, if you check the birthday on the girls, you'll see that they turned 5 after the deadline for kindergarten registration.
Oh, I see, okay. Anyway, Mrs. Santiago, we are willing, in the meantime, to place you in a women's shelter while you try to pull things together. Sometimes it's better to check into a shelter than to move into another problematic environment. The girls tell me, and our records show, that there's another child, one Winter Santiago. Is that you?
She asked, eyebrow raised. No, I'm Rosie. I'm a family friend. I lied.
We'll need to know the whereabouts of the other child. Legally, she's still a minor, and we're responsible for her. We can place her in a group home with lenient rules and regulations since she is an older child. We can help her complete her schooling, as long as she has no history of emotional problems, violent behavior, or educational dysfunctions. She wouldn't have to live in a restrictive or reformatory facility. When can you arrange to bring her in, or provide us with an address so we can have her picked up?
My mother glanced at the big armed security police stationed in the corner of the room. She looked at me and said,
This is unbelievable. Can I have your business card, miss? I'll give you a call and let you know what I want to do. Give us a call soon. We need to locate Winter. Should I put you on the family shelter waiting list in the meanwhile?
My mother lowered her eyes.
Yes, but I believe you'll be seeing me in court very soon. I need to get my girls back right away.
In Goldstein's office, my mother went off. Goldstein had the confidence of a well-paid elderly gentleman. He let her rattle on and remain courteous.
Let's separate the matters. First of all, we're operating with a nut of $50,000. This is what I received from Santiago's safety deposit box. The real money is in his bank accounts. But his bank accounts are all frozen. His business records have all been seized. None of that money will be accessible until after the case is closed. Depending upon the way things unfold, that may never be attainable. Given these circumstances, that's a small nut. Deduct $7,500 from Miss Santiago's case.
$7,500 for what?
For getting all the charges against you dismissed, Miss Santiago. That wasn't easy. I really had to lean on the prosecutor in Long Island. You could be doing 6 months to 1.5 years right now. I think your freedom is well worth your money. Wouldn't you agree?
But I didn't resist arrest. I didn't assault no officer. How could I have assaulted him when I was already handcuffed?
Be that as it may, I took care of everything. My fee is $7,500. The case for your children will require a retainer of $3,000. That's a discount. Family court is a messy matter. A lot of this will depend on whether these cases get separated or not. There are several co-defendants. Some of these cases can drag on and on. It's a little early to discuss. However, if we go into appeals, we're looking at another major set of expenses. You need to be prepared for that. It all depends on how far Santiago wants to take it.
What exactly is my father being charged with? I interrupted. The lawyer surrendered one of the folders in Santiago's file. There were 10 sheets of green papers issued by the court. The answer to my question? I said. What is he being charged with?
Everything. You name it. Santiago's being accused of it. Conspiracy, murder, weapons, money laundering, tax evasion.
It was ridiculous to me. People don't understand Santiago's world. It's business. Nobody kept the drug dealer's business in check but the dealer himself and the team he set up. There has to be punishment for those within the team who test too much and step out of line. There has to be punishment for outsiders who attack the business. Violations have to be responded to. Otherwise, the business don't flow correctly and people try to take advantage. They shouldn't be able to barge into our business and force their rules on us. Not when Santiago knew his workers better than anybody from the outside. Everybody in this game knew what he was dealing with. Nobody forced them into this business. They understood the risks. Besides, the drug dealers helped America to be rich. If it wasn't for us, who would buy the fly cars, butter leathers, and the jewelry? We put so much money into circulation. More than those little nickel and dime paying taxpayers. We employ half the men in the ghetto. Nobody else gave them jobs. So why be a player hater? It was $60,500 that had to go to the lawyer up front. Goldstein already had $50,000. Soon as I tracked Midnight, I'd locate the loot and deliver the $10,500 to Goldstein. I'd have $39,500 to push around and double. Daddy said Midnight would be released. I offered him a partnership since he already knew the business. He'd go for it as long as he got his cut. Mama and Goldstein were closing out their talk. Mama was asking if she could arrange to see the kids at the places they were being held. Goldstein promised to look into the matter. On the way out, I asked Mama, "How was last night at Aunt Lori's?"
It's as cool as can be expected. She keeps asking if Santiago had put any money away for a rainy day. She wants me to know it's raining and she needs cash.
What did you tell her?
I didn't tell her shit. I just looked at her like this.
Mama made a real ugly face and rolled her eyes into her head. I laughed. Mama was becoming a real comedian.
After I made this face, she knew the deal. Don't ask me for shit.
I never mentioned to Mama that Santiago told me about Midnight having some money set aside. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. After repeatedly beeping Midnight, he finally answered my page.
Who this?
A shockwave shot through my body. Winter.
What do you want?
Santiago.
Where do you want me to meet you for dinner? I'm in Manhattan. I can meet you on 34th and 8th tonight at 8. We can go any place you want from there.
The wind was whipping the pleats of my wool skirt, offering a free peep show to anybody who was looking. I was feeling a little more relaxed in the new suit, though. I knew the money was real tight, but this suit was an investment. If I could walk Midnight into my corner, we could regroup, create a new hustle, and land on our feet like cats. Whatever Midnight decided to do would affect my father and even my own life, but I wasn't about to give him the impression that I was desperate. I wasn't stupid enough to go and try to get my hustle on without the input of a real player. Midnight knew the ins and outs, plus he knew my father was loyal to him and he could duplicate Santiago's style of running things. In fact, Santiago could somehow counsel him from the inside. Santiago had stayed on top for so long that Midnight and a few years of working for him had to have learned the secrets to his business. I knew at first me and him would have to squash any beef we had in the past, even though I never understood what the problem was anyway. He acted like me wanting to get with him was a crime. As serious as things were now, I was sure he would see that me and him gotta work together. Otherwise, some lowlives were gonna be happy to watch us sink down to their level. I promised myself not to piss him off. I was gonna stick to business.
You called about the money, right? Well, I'll have it for you. Monday morning. Where do you want me to drop it off?
Midnight had rolled up to the curb and dashed open the window. He didn't get out of the car. He didn't even say hello, peace, or what's up. I thought we was going for dinner, I said nicely, bugging out on how he was treating me.
That was just something to say to keep you from running your mouth on the phone. There's a lot of brothers in jail today because they or some silly girlfriend don't know how to shut up over the phone. I knew what you wanted. I'll take care of it. Meet me on Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the pier outside of Louis' restaurant at the South Street Seaport.
He pressed the button and the window closed tight. As his wheels started to roll, I kicked his car with my foot. Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. Who the fuck do you think you are? He hit the brakes, reversed, and the passenger window rolled down.
Are you crazy? The last thing you want to do is make a scene.
Well, I'ma make a movie if you don't show me some respect.
Respect? What do you know about that? I saw your naked ass on a videotape, sipping champagne with Bullet. Who'd have ever known that Santiago's daughter would be sipping bubbly with the nigga who's working for the other side? While your daddy was being raided by the feds, you were drinking butt naked with the enemy.
His words pierced me like knives. I was tongue-tied. I had been part of a setup. My mind tried to reject any blame. I would never do anything to hurt Papa. My chest was heated up. My mouth cranked up and said whatever came to mind. Yeah, I was with Bullet, so what? You got a problem with that?
I spent the night in jail behind your stupid shit. That's right. Slick Kid brought the video to Big Mo's to celebrate how much of a fool some small-timer like him made of Santiago's daughter. He showed the video on the bar TV at Mo's, our spot. Wait, we used to run shit. I'm chilling in the back room, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, when Mo comes in the back to tell me what's going on. I come out to the bar area blowing my cover. Here, I'm the only nigga on the team who ain't got pinched by the feds. They ain't got nothing on me, but I gotta sit in the pen for 2 nights for beating the shit out of a little broke-ass nigga 'cause you a stupid bitch. Back off my ride. I'll bring the money to you on Monday.
He pulled off. Furious wasn't enough to describe the intensity of my feeling. Below the anger, my thoughts played dodgeball. I ran to the nearest telephone and gave Natalie a call. She picked up. Her usually bold voice was quieted by sleepiness. Yeah? What's up with your man Slick Kid?
Oh, forget him. I ain't messing with him anymore. He's ridiculous.
So you know that he's been running around showing niggas my ass on a videotape.
Don't take it personal. My ass is in that tape too. Why sweat it? We in shape. Niggas can't lie and say they saw some cellulite or stretch marks or nothing like that. Our shit was tight. I should thank the fool. You know how much dick I got sweating me now? His ass was straight up trying to diss me and I flicked it on him. Ha ha, now niggas checking for me.
Natalie's calm ran against my fury. So why you didn't tell me Bullet was down with the mother niggas around the way?
Oh, that. Bullet's cool. He's getting a little name for himself. He's pulling in the loot. It's just a money thing with him. He ain't got nothing personal against you or your family. He's cool peeps. He really like you. I mean, for real, for real.
Yeah, with a wife and a newborn baby.
What? Oh, I didn't tell you. Remember Patches from around the way? You know how all the boys in his family got that big hairy black stain on the side of their faces that they be saying is a birthmark? Well, Soraya had that baby, and it had a big-ass black hairy mole like Patches. Now Soraya's swearing up and down that it's still Bullet's baby. It's a miracle or something. Bullet's grandmother talking about there's no way her fine-ass grandson gave birth to an ugly little something like that kid. Now Bullet looking like a fool. He's all caught up out there, fills Soraya's house up with Toys R Us stuff for the kid and all that. He's standing in the waiting room with the cigars and champagne when Patches Jr. slid out. I overheard Soraya talking to her girl Fatima, who be kicking it with Monica, saying even though Patches is ugly, he can't eat a mean pussy. That's why Soraya kept seeing him on the side. When she got pregnant, she just told Bullet it was his kid, 'cause Patches is broke as hell. She knew Bullet was a good guy and would support the baby. Now I saw Bullet today. He said as soon as Soraya heals, he's gonna go upside her head. He said he knew she was a hoe. He just wanted to be a man about it and represent for the baby that Soraya swore up and down was his.
Damn. It was all I could say. Natalie had a way of mixing up and confusing any conversation.
Oh, I seen your mother back around our way. She's like a whole nother person. I heard she was supposed to get some kind of surgery to fix her face.
Yeah, she'll be alright. I hate to think of my mother walking around all crazy like.
Sorry about your father.
I knew I needed to hang up. Natalie was just being a nosy ass, digging for more shit to talk about. Oh, Natalie, I gotta go. The cops over here about to throw a ticket on my Benz. I slammed the phone down. A winter white outfit was gonna make me feel alright. The color white for me was like a new beginning. I was standing outside of Bloomingdale's at 10 a.m. Monday morning when the doors opened. My meeting with Midnight would happen in a couple of hours. I hoped that time might have cooled Midnight down, making him more reasonable and receptive toward my business deal. My mom's was definitely right. There had to be some love in Midnight's heart for me. He fought Slick Kid for me. What other reason would he have to beat Slick Kid's ass? He went to jail for me, defended my name. My Nicole Miller dress was not that expensive. It was the shoes in the bag that sent the bill soaring. I took a chance at a new hair shop. At least it was new to me. Those girls from the Dominican Republic hooked my hair up lovely. It was a silky long wrap, China-style blunt cut. At 1 p.m., the South Street Seaport was alive. Glasses were clinking, spoons, knives, and forks in action as the lunch crowd flowed in and out. The restaurant was in the open air. You could feel and smell the breeze coming off the East River. I fit